Welcome to GrogTalk. I'm James.
I'm Dan. Oh, and we are coming from the Blue Dolphin Inn today in the city-state of the Invincible Overlord. Always happy to be back in the town.
We are glad to be here. We're sorry we're running a little late. We didn't have proper change at the gate.
That's true. Right. I thought it was a whole portal.
I don't know. It felt that way. There was some gate issues, and we didn't have the right spells memorized, so it took a little while to get you in here.
Okay, I just have to talk a little bit about this because it's so entertaining. Because I'm stuck at the gate because James lives in a fancy neighborhood.
That's right.
And so we can't get through. I can't get through the gate. The gate code's not working. And he comes up. Well, I'll come get you. You jump in your car and you come out and you join me outside the gate.
That's right. So
and it's not working for you either.
Correct. It's not just the gate code. It's the actual whole gate mechanism is not working.
So both of us were sitting outside the gate.
That's right.
And I was thinking to myself, how are we gonna get in?
Well, we would have got. There's this passage, for pedestrians. We would have had to abandon our horses and go into the dungeon.
Right.
But it was pretty sad. I'm like, yeah, I'm coming to come get you. I pull out. I'm like, and I even thought to myself, I should probably tell him to come in this way, but no, what's going to go wrong? I have a little transponder and came around, and of course it didn't work. So yeah, so that's why we're running a little late. It was, we probably should have been videotaping that. If we were true social media YouTubers, we'd
be vlogging it.
We would have been stuck outside.
Well, why?
Still stuck outside.
What I think is interesting is that the person who came out then sees these two cars waiting to come in through the out.
Right.
And we squirt on through. Shouldn't they have called the police or something?
They should. And I should be calling the property manager to tell him, but obviously I'm
not. A lot of us should be doing a lot
There's a lot of things.
But we got a show.
That's right. We have a show, and our friends in Sweden and our friends in the North Star State and friends everywhere want to see the show. They don't care if people can get in or out, though. That'll be someone else's problem. So, today is episode 25, our 25th episode. That's a milestone. Right? Is that silver anniversary or something to that effect?
Is this where we're hugging it?
Yeah, well, no, I'll do that off camera. Nico. So Nico's here, by the way. So for those in chat, he's the one running chat. Say hello to Nico. Appreciate his help. He's doing a bang-up job. He's
done it once.
He's done a bang-up job?
Well, I mean, he's done one episode.
That's right.
That was bang-up, though. I don't mean to...
He's a home wrecker. He's done a bunch of things.
But, 50% of the time when Nico helps out, the gate doesn't open.
Yeah, he didn't have a knock spell either. It was pretty comical. So, the good news is we want to at least talk about GrogCon. That's coming up October 11th through the 13th, and tickets are available through Tabletop Events. Correct. And we have confirmed a number of great things. First, the commander and most astonishing patron crown prince and the Honorable Scourge of North Star State, Vic Dorso, is going to run his Keep at Blood Red Falls adventure.
Right. Twice.
It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, October 11th through 13th, here in the Orlando area at the Days Inn Wyndham in Kissimmee. And we also have the Chamberlain, his most renowned illustriousness, Baron, Irresistible Immolator of Cleveland, Carl Slicing.
I squared.
That's right. He could actually be I cubed because it's illustrious.
That's
Baron,
true.
So we could have triple
I cubed. I like I cubed better.
All right, he's I cubed. He is developing a module, just an adventure for GrogCon, and he'll be running that a number of times. So great DMs that we're going to have here. Dan and I will be running a tournament adventure, which we're actually going to debut next week, which we'll talk a little bit about. And it's part of the Crucible 8 convention. So there's miniature wargaming, there's tabletop role-playing, there's tabletop gaming, there's vendors. It's a great time. The rooms are reasonable, and we'd love to see you there. So if you have any questions, you can send that to info@grogcon.com, or you can hit us up on Twitter at GrogTalk. Okay? Summer tournament. Next week, we are hopefully, I'm assuming I can get out of my own gate next week, that we're going to be at Sci-Fi City next week at 10:30 next week. So special time. Just remind everyone, we'll be at 10:30 Eastern time because the place doesn't open until 10. So we're hoping it's only going to take us in half an hour to get set up. Broadcast live from Sci-Fi City for the first hour and a half. And I think you scheduled the tournament for 1:30. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think it was 1:30 to...
Right, so we have a couple of spaces open. Dan and I have been working hard on that adventure, and if you're a patron, you would have seen part 1 of how we created the adventure. We've gotten some good feedback.
Well, you had access to it anyway.
That's right.
You didn't necessarily see it.
Right. Yeah, you
right?
did. That's right. Well, you didn't see the adventure.
Oh, right. Oh, that's right. But so how did the patrons are able to see it because they stayed on the line? Do they have access to it now as like an
No, I made a YouTube video of part 1, not what we've done, because part 2, obviously, we've made some major changes. So I showed them what I did, kind of the framework, and then part 2 is what we worked on, which again, you did a lot of great things with it. But then you did some more things, which I still have to absorb. I have to go through.
Not so great.
I don't know if there's not great. It's just what you are a prolific writer that I can't keep up with all the changes.
Prolific writer of prolix.
Apparently. So it went, it's been a creative process, which is good. I had my idea. Dan put his stamp on it. We're now going to adjust it. So part 1 was out now. If you're a patron of any level, you can see that, and then next week after I'll put out video 2 so you can see the changes that we made. Okay. Next, because if you are a patron, one of the advantages that you have is that you can, if you so choose, be bestowed a title. So this is your fate. You need 30-sided dice.
I like this more than the money.
Right.
The fact that we get patrons.
Right.
That we get to do this. So this is it's in Dragon. It's best of volume.
That's right, best of volume 5. We're gonna
volume 5.
So we have Max Bricalt, who is one of our earliest patrons, actually, and who's one who's been commenting on our shenanigans for a long time. Can you get your 30-sided dice?
I sure can. My 30. Yes, hold on.
Yes, you'll need 30-sided dice.
I hear great things about Quebec. I'd really like to go there, actually.
Is it Quebec or Quebec? I've heard it both ways.
Well, I'd like to go there in the winter time, actually, in December, Christmas time. Here's beautiful.
Okay, well, yep. Go ahead. Oh, you're starting to roll. You're not messing around.
Well, after that gate issue, we're running behind, aren't we?
That's true. Okay, so Nico, prepare for writing.
Okay.
So 2, 4. So
no, was I supposed to?
That's fine. That's because this is we're just divided by 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Governor. 6, 8, 10. Yep, governor. Now D10.
Okay. 7.
Governor most.
Okay.
Now a D30. We're getting a little bit faster at this. That is the weirdest thing.
14.
Stupendous. Stupendous. So governor, what did you say? Most stupendous?
Most stupendous.
All right, another D30.
4.
Is that a curse word?
Whoa. Okay, we're gonna have to bring Nico in here. Okay, can Nico get a pronunciation for us?
Yeah.
Well, he's probably not gonna know it just reading it. He might.
Omnipotence?
No, this one above it.
We knew that one.
Puissance? Something like that.
Puissance.
No idea.
Puissance.
Maybe he can get us a pronunciation.
Yeah, Pui. Go ahead. Are you typing it in?
Hold on.
Puissance. Puissance. I think we're trying to say it. Are you looking at doing that? Puissance.
That's how it's pronounced?
Puissance.
Puissance? What does it mean?
I don't know. I have no idea. This is why we played.
Competition of a horse's ability to jump over large obstacles to show jumping. Archaic, literary, great power, influence, or prowess.
Great power and influence.
Or that horse, though.
And Puissance. Do you remember this group? They were a Swedish native classical music group formed in 1993. I don't remember them.
Well, 93.
Yeah, well, that was kind of in our wheelhouse. It's not like last year.
That's true.
I mean, I was in my 20s at that point. But there you go.
Puissance, you said?
Puissance.
Puissance.
Puissance. Puissance.
And it was good. Not bad, if I recall correctly. It was something good. It was right.
Well, it's just funny that it's a band. And of course, it all ties back to Sweden. Though we do have to talk about that, unfortunately. If Sweden doesn't get on the ball, they're going to be overtaken by another country, which we'll bring up. Okay, so let's keep going.
Okay.
So I just look forward to this. His title is becoming very interesting. Go ahead.
What am I rolling? 30?
Yep. Divide by 2.
27. We rounding up.
Yep. 14.
14.
Lord.
17.
And then a D6.
Okay. So it's the 17th, first half of one.
Yeah. The August, AUGUST.
Am I wrong?
Yep.
14.
Champion of. That's it.
Oh, that's it. There we go.
Champion of Quebec City.
Or we could do it all Quebec.
QUEBEC.
Or should we do all of Canada? Or we could do Quebec's the province. Isn't Quebec the province?
Well, he said he's from a small town outside of Quebec City, so I actually promoted him to Quebec City.
Oh, I see.
I'm sure if he upgrades his tier, we'd give him all of Quebec.
You're right. We shouldn't just give it all away.
Right.
At first.
It is on the continent, but later if he wants to claim it, he could make a move on all of the province.
Can we give him Newfoundland too though? Just throw it in there.
That'll be up to him. He'll have to decide.
Okay.
He may want to give that to him. So, all right, excellent. We are now ready to bestow his title. It's in here, correct?
Yep.
All right. So, we want to bestow to Max Bricalt, Governor, most stupendous
Puissance, Lord the August Champion
of Quebec. Congratulations.
To me for pronouncing that right.
Yes.
Did I pronounce it right? You were bad. I didn't know. You threw it over to me right at that one. You're such a puissance.
That's right. That's never going to get old. So congratulations, Max. We'll be putting this up on the heraldry where we've put such luminaries as David Thompson, Vic Dorso, Carlos Lysing, and Clay Gainey. Our empire is spreading. We are now in 2 continents, 3 countries. That's pretty amazing.
That is pretty good.
Yeah, and Cleveland.
And Cleveland to boot.
Exactly. So, real quick, the Swedish challenge. We had been ignoring the Swedish challenge until one of our dear listeners started reminding us he's from Sweden. Mm-hmm. Then something shocking happened this week. What happened this week? I sent you the information about it.
Well, I refuse to believe it. You said that, I think on Sunday, one of the days last week, we were #1 in Japan.
This is not a rumor. It came up in the internet said, and the internet is as truthful as anything else in the world.
Right.
It popped up, Japan. I looked on it on July 15th. We were #1 in iTunes podcasts, gaming, other gaming.
Do they do it perhaps by the seconds? And so someone downloaded our podcast that second, and no other podcasts of other games?
Or maybe the whole iTunes went down, and the first podcast was luckily in Japan, ours. I don't know, but the people of Japan have spoken, Dan. They're all of like mind, and they said, "Hey, you know what? 2 middle-aged guys talking about D&D. That's #1 for us."
Wow. So, do you get to pick the category? Like, how do you?
Yes, you get to pick your category.
So, could we pick a category that no one downloads? Like, if there's something strange, like basket weaving.
I don't know.
Would it be #1 basket weaving?
I'm not sure we would be #1 even in basket weaving. So I think we found our niche, gaming, other gaming. But
so I see what you've written on the screen here is Japan Challenge.
Yes. So we were #1 for a brief win, like Camelot. We're
out. We're not #1 anymore.
No, we're not #1. We went quickly the next day to 49, and now we're at 90 something. I mean, we're still in the top 100, which is pretty good for gaming, other gaming in Japan.
But what this means is, what? Okay, I'm seeing a trend. With the Swedish situation, as it shall henceforth be called.
The Swedish situation.
Right. And
Swedish controversy. But
Swedish controversy. And now Japan, it tells me that we're doing a really good job of attracting listeners. They look at what they see. They say, wow, this looks really interesting.
Right.
Then they listen.
They listen.
And they say, maybe not.
No, they I'm not. We really would have to interview someone. So now the question is to our Japanese listeners.
Open paren, S close paren.
Why don't you give us why were you attracted to GrogCon, and then why did you leave us? Well, then I don't know if they'd be able to find out, but that would be great.
They probably heard it from their friend in Sweden.
Yeah, they said come for the banter, but leave quickly. That's apparently what happened. So, but I think we now need to have a #1 Japan challenge.
So you know what the challenge is? We're heading made in Japan.
Right, that's right.
Right?
Grog in Japan, the Grog Japan. Grog in Japan.
Grog and Pan.
Well, now we have our world tour. You thought it was expensive going to Sweden. Now we're flying to Japan.
Yes.
Then going to Sweden.
Yes.
We might as well go to Canada at this point, hang out with Max, and then drive through Minnesota, hit Cleveland, and then stop at Lake City.
No, it starts in Lake City.
Oh, you want to go that way?
Iron Maiden starts in Florida.
Oh, that's
right?
true.
They
yeah,
started the other night again.
Oh, they did? I didn't realize that.
2 nights ago, I think. They played again in Sunrise.
South Florida? Okay.
Yeah, because Nico McBrain.
Right, he lives down here.
So, yeah, so we could be like Iron Maiden.
Okay.
Obviously.
We could drive through Lake City.
Right.
Then drive up to...
Sweden.
Well, no, can't drive to Sweden. Go to Minnesota. We'll go to Cleveland, then Minnesota. I think, what is it, Delta? They have a hub there. Fly over to Sweden. And then from Sweden to Japan. That's a nice flight.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll need a lot of medication to get that 18-hour flight, whatever it is. But yeah, then we'll end up in Japan. We're there. I mean, how far is Japan to Australia? What, a couple hours? It's not. It seems all over there, right?
It's like 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's a quick hop, and then we'll fly down to see David Thompson, and then from there we'll fly home.
Okay.
We need someone in California.
We need
now.
more patrons.
That's right. We need a lot more patrons. So if you'd like to see us travel 12,000 miles, we're going to need a lot more patrons.
That would be kind of cool if we did do our tour like that. That would be a way for people to pay for us to take around the world vacation.
That's right. That would be awesome.
We just sort of play a little D&D while we're there.
Yeah, that'd be about $25,000 we'll need. So I look forward to that.
Victor also says you need geography lessons.
Geography lessons? What do you mean? Japan and Australia, like right next to each other. It's like Pangea, right? All the things are right next to each other. Yeah, who knows how it is out there? Okay. Well, we didn't have any iTunes reviews. Everyone said it. So we're up to one of your favorite things.
No reviews is good reviews.
Well, no, we've had good reviews. We want more of them.
Okay.
All right, so we are ready for Random Encounter.
Random Encounter, Monster Manual 2. The book I only touch once a week. Okay. All right, so you are ready to roll a die 10, if I recall correctly, right? To find out.
I believe that's right.
See if you're in a dungeon again. We got to get out of the dungeon. We've never been out of a dungeon, have we?
Not recently.
I want aquatic. All right, give me a die 10.
10.
Oh,
we got to be interesting. We got to be somewhere.
Oh yeah, astral and ethereal.
Perfect.
I'm not going to know anything about whatever is rolled
up.
So I need you to roll. Oh, well, it's the astral and ethereal encounter. So I need a D6.
Just a D6?
1, 2, 3. Well, it's either going to be astral or ethereal.
2.
It's astral.
Okay.
Now it's your favorite. What is it, the 8 and the 12?
D and the 12?
Yeah.
Okay. We have a 1 and a 3. So that's going to be pretty rare, too.
So we have a 4 total? I do a food dog.
A food dog.
What's a food dog? I wouldn't even know where to find a food dog.
I think it's in the Monster Manual too, a food dog.
A food dog? Is it under dog or foo?
I don't know.
I'm gonna start with dog.
Yeah, go with dog and see what it is. I think it is. Is that the one? Was that a pooch dog? I forgot.
That's screwing the pooch, isn't it?
No, that's what the show is about. Oh, you're in demons.
Man, there's so many demons. Huh? What the?
Foo creatures.
Foo creatures. There you go.
Wait, it's under foo creatures?
Yes.
So there's a whole group of foo?
Yeah, apparently.
Foo creatures. Oh,
yeah.
Well, there's 2.
That's more than
foo
one.
Creatures, you get 2?
You get 2.
That's it?
Right. So what do they know about it?
Oh, no. What would have been cooler is a giant firefly above it.
Yeah. Well, by the way, another Monsters of the Cloth.
Oh, you're right. The Executioner's Hood.
There you go.
That's just weird.
So we got another Monsters of the Cloth. By the way, that's one of the segments, Monsters of the Cloth. We have Sheet Fandom, Cloaker, and now Executioner's Hood.
I like that. That'd be a good adventure.
That would be Monsters of the Cloth.
Monsters of the Cloth.
Rug of Smothering.
A Rug of Smothering. Okay, there you go.
I like this. See, I like the other monsters on here.
Okay. No, but this is the monster we roll up. You gotta do the dog.
All right.
I literally know nothing about it.
Foo creatures are found in separate areas of the prime material plane. Oh, so they are on the prime material plane.
Apparently.
Okay, that's good. As well as in some of the upper outer planes. They can become ethereal and travel astrally or ethereally. This is too much. These words are too hard. Okay? You don't care? Attack is by 2 clawing rakes with the forepaws and then a bite. When engaged in combat with evil opponents, foo creatures attack as if dogs were 10 and lions were 15 hit dice creatures. If the opponents are lawful evil, especially devils, they gain +1 per attack, both to hit and to damage. All foo creatures can become invisible at will. Their barking roar alerts humans to danger and threatens evil creatures, for the sound is 20% likely to bring 1 to 6 additional foo dogs or 1 or 2 foo lions if it continues for 7 or more rounds. The newcomers will appear from the astral plane in 1 to 10 rounds. Foo creatures can travel the astral plane and often do so, which is why we encountered one.
Right.
Evil opponents attack foo creatures at -1 on both to hit and damage. Foo creatures can sometimes... I'm going to turn this page. It better not be like half the page.
Yeah.
Foo creatures can sometimes be convinced to serve to guard humans of the very good sort.
I'm very good.
So you could be like a paladin.
Right. But they're chaotic good.
Foo dog.
Chaotic
good. Well, that sounds hilarious, doesn't it? That dog, the paladin's like, come back here.
That's right.
Because he's chaotic.
Yeah, and the face is weird.
They will not stay for extended periods in any case. Oh, boo. But you can have like a food adventure.
They're like
with
a therapy.
Food dog.
They're like a therapy dog. They come and they help you and then they leave.
They have their own language and can understand human speech if familiar with the tongue. Food creatures have large blunt heads with wide-set bulging eyes and huge mouths with large fangs. Their bodies appear rather leonine. Leonine? Or leonine?
Leonine?
Well, it's L-E, like...
Yeah, leonine, maybe, but that's lion.
Right, I agree with that. Like Leo. With bush-tipped tails. We smart. Dogs have short tails, lions long ones. The hind legs are quite canine, while the forelegs are more lion-like. Coloration runs from golden-toned to black. Odd foo creatures range from white to almost any other color. Foo lions have manes and larger mouths than foo dogs. So I was reading this, so I didn't really comprehend any of it because I was too worried about pronunciation.
The part is, so there are these weird creatures. It's not quite sure why they exist. Maybe you can ask the chat people, Nico, what module? Because a lot of them, I assume, a lot of the ones in Monster Manual 2 are from adventures, published adventures, or some adventure like that, and they threw them together. You know, kind of like the cloaker we talked about. So, what is the purpose of these? They just seem to be another random creature, like they don't guard anything. They're not guardians. They weren't developed for things. So, I don't know.
I agree with that. It really sounds like something that was created for an adventure, something very specific. Like, hey, this would be cool.
Now, again, they're pretty powerful. Their level, what does it say, level 7?
Yeah, 7 plus 7 for the dog, which is what we're doing. So I didn't look at the lion.
Don't look at the lion. I'm not looking. I'm looking over here.
Right. Yeah, so they're big dogs, and they're very good.
And they can travel ether and astral, and they're good watchdogs, which sounds amazing. So how would you get one of them? It just says you have to be very good.
Yeah, this is a trap. Well, they'll come for a short duration, though, right? Mm-hmm. But that's it, right? Well, they can be convinced to serve. They will not stay for extended periods in any case.
Right.
So even if they're going to serve you as your guard, they're not going to serve you as a dog.
The problem is it's not clear what milieu they would be part of. So it's you'd have to kind of come up with a story why, unless it's an astral or ethereal campaign, why it says it'd be on the prime material. How would you get the players involved with this? How would they show up? A pack of these foo dogs? I don't know.
Wikipedia says the foo dog and foo lion first appeared in first edition Monster Manual 2.
Okay, so that was it.
Then they appeared in second edition Kara-Tur setting in Monstrous Compendium of Kara-Tur Appendix.
So Kara-Tur, I believe, is the Oriental Adventure version of that?
And then the Planescape setting.
Okay, makes sense, because Planescape's all about planar stuff. Okay, so there's probably some backstory on that. So what Nico said is that the foo creature, I guess the first time it appeared, did not appear in a module. So, all right, well, it's okay. Well, there's really not much to say about it.
We were running behind anyway because of the gate incident, so maybe this was good.
Yeah, it's too bad because we had, it's not a module monster I really know a lot about.
But that's the whole point of this.
Yeah,
you've learned something.
I have, and I don't think I'd have to figure out how I would use that because as Nico told us in Wikipedia, it's part of the Kara-Tur thing they put it in second edition, which I believe Kara-Tur is the Oriental Adventure.
Okay, I've got a question. Can you use animal friendship on it? Can you make it? They're not animals, because they're. Why do you say that?
Because they're
It's a food dog.
I know, but it's not a normal animal.
That's different than not being an animal.
It's a monster.
So I'm playing. I say I want to befriend this food dog.
I would say no. I would ask, is it burrowing? That would be the first question.
So if you can talk to it.
Yeah.
It doesn't say. I don't think so.
I don't think they're burrowing. Unless it's a prairie dog. Is it a prairie foo astral dog? Then that would be amazing.
Everything's a creature or a monster, though. Isn't the definition of monster quite broad?
Well, you have to look in animal summoning, which we don't know. We have to do our spells. This is your spell selection time. You need to cast your spell since we're kind of...
Is this you saying we need to move away from the...
Move on.
You're over the foo dog?
Well, we may figure out something with the foo dog. You've kind of derivated to animal friendship. I'll look up animal friendship, and you can figure out what spell we're going to do.
Okay, I see like a combat with a foo dog. You're like in a ring.
Oh, like
with a foo dog.
What is this, pit fighting?
You throw evil. Yeah, no, yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
Okay. I was going to say, I don't think they would fight each other.
No, 2 foo dogs.
Okay, so animal, I think in the DMG it talks about animal.
What an animal is?
Yes. As far as, because people like you would try to expand it. Even though that's people like me too, I would try to expand it. But speak with animals. Basic, normal, non-fantastic creatures.
Oh, that's what it actually says that?
Yes.
I think that's the foo dogs out.
Yes. Note that the spell differs for speak with monsters. So again, we're using speak with animals to define what an animal is.
I'm going to roll this, and if I get a 1, I get to befriend it. I don't.
No.
Actually,
in fact, it attacks you.
Yeah.
Food creatures have magic resistance, too.
Oh, first of all, we have to roll a reaction roll.
No, I know.
Oh, 80-something. They like you.
Oh, it's like licking my face.
They snuggle, and then they transport you to the astral plane where you die.
Yeah, I don't like
That's
this.
probably what happened.
I agree with you. We basically exhausted any material we have.
You know, random. That's sometimes you get the cloaker and a black pudding, but sometimes you get the food dog. All right, let's do.
Well, you shouldn't have been out in the astral plane anyway. What were you doing out there? What did you expect to find? An orc?
Apparently, I was astral projecting. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure why I was out there.
On to something more mundane.
Well, so spell selection. First, you got to figure out what kind of spell it is.
The scroll.
That's right. You got to do the scroll things. What'd you roll?
I rolled a 38.
Okay, so it is a magic user type.
It's not a cleric.
That's right. If you roll under 10 now, it's an illusionist spell.
Oh, that'd be awesome. It's a 6.
6. It is an illusionist spell.
Yes.
There you go. Congratulations.
Jezebel's Corner.
That's right. Roll a d8.
Is this in it? Yes.
Still.
5.
5. Okay, now roll a d8 again. Now you should know all about this. Whatever
3.
it's 3. Major creation.
I don't know anything about that. What level is that?
That's 5th level.
Well, I don't think I ever got that high, probably.
Major creation.
It sounds good, though, doesn't it?
Yes, this is... Okay, so... Again, I'm sure someone has saw this. I never quite understood why the more powerful illusionist... Yeah, the spell is major creation. You can put that down, Nico. Thank you. Why? Because they... I understand illusions are created by illusions, but then eventually they start making things that are actual reality. So when you look at minor creation...
What level is that, do you know?
I believe it's 4th level. Yes. It allows the illusionist to create an item of non-living vegetable... Here we go, vegetable in nature.
Well, on the next level we can do... Yeah, next level we can do vegetable.
Right.
The next one. The
item created cannot exceed 1 cubic. So it lasts, but it's temporary. The major creation, which is the 5th level version of it, it allows you to create mineral objects. If vegetable objects are created, they have a duration of 12 turns per level. So minor creation, you can create non-living vegetables, soft goods, rope, wood, etc. The item cannot exceed 1 cubic foot. So good news, you're going to burn a 5th level spell so you can create something that lasts for, in this case, about half a day.
I think this spell's great.
It takes a turn to cast.
So and it's got the picture. The major creation.
No, that's not that's the
thing
that's
a demi shadow.
Yes, that's not.
I thought I was creating a demi shadow monster.
No, that's what you should take: demi shadow monster, or chaos, or maze, or anything else but this.
Maze that creates corn.
No, that's produce maze, not just maze.
Okay.
That's major maze. Look, maze is an 8th level magic user spell. This is 5th level. Maze is an amazing spell.
You know what? Things on this show, starting with the gate incident, is just not that sort of portended, didn't it?
Right, it did. We should have just shut it down.
We get foo dog.
Right, foo dog. You get major creation. You could summon a shadow. Look, again, it's not a problem with this spell. Again, major creation. Okay, you could create something that's 1 cubic foot. What you're going to be about 9th or 10th level, I think, is 5th level spell. So 9 cubic feet of something. That's a 3x3 cube of stuff.
But something might be, you might need something. Like I said, you can create rope. What if you left your rope back at the tavern?
Oh, you're going to memorize a 4th level spell minor creation as opposed to Phantasm Killer?
That's the problem, is you got to memorize it in advance.
Right, or Shadow Monsters?
That's a good point. Yes, you know why? Because I'm an illusionist. That's what I do.
That's what you do?
I'm a gnome illusionist.
And that's why you've never been 5th. Well, first of all, they would never have spells that high as long as we're playing our game, because they're not allowed to go that high enough level to get those spells. They can't get 4th level spells, gnome illusionists.
There's got to be something useful that I would need to create, don't you think?
No. So
this is basically if you forgot something back at the tavern. Hey, that sword. I lost my sword. No worries. I've memorized major creation.
Right.
Here's a sword.
Here's a well. It's.
Where's my?
No,
cloak?
you can. Well, first of all, you can create mineral objects. So what's a mineral object? Rock.
Gold.
Is that? I guess. Yeah, you could produce gold.
Money.
No, that's not too bad.
Wait a second.
Gems.
Are we on to something?
Yeah.
Oh wait. It's limited duration, but we just spend it and then it disappears.
Right.
The person gets it.
Well, maybe this is
and
good.
It's gone.
I like that now. Yeah, you're basically a giant block of gold.
So you shouldn't wear your pointy hat when you go in there with your gold.
No, exactly. You shouldn't. Yeah.
Hey man, last time you gave me some gold, it disappeared.
So it says so if you're going to create rope, you need hemp, splinter of wood to create a door.
But so I just need one gold piece.
You need
one gold piece.
Right, and you just made a pile of gold.
Ye of little faith.
Oh,
see, this is why you were never good as an illusionist. You're like, oh, I'll make a rope. The illusionists, the true illusionists are like, I'm making gold.
No, the true illusionist is still taking maize.
Is gold a mineral? Nico, do we need to put Nico on this? Is gold a mineral? What's a mineral?
I feel that's a metal. A mineral, I would say, is gems.
Oh, well, no worries.
Yeah, I would think you'd have to do a gem. I feel like that would be a mineral.
Okay, well, that's not a problem. We'll do a bunch of gems.
Okay, well, you'll have to research that.
A solid inorganic substance of natural occurrence.
Oh, well, there you go. That's pretty broad.
It's, broadly speaking, a solid chemical compound that occurs naturally in pure form, associated with rocks.
All right, so yeah.
I don't see any reason why, in 6 turns per level.
Yes.
I don't see any reason why you would ever need money again.
Right.
Right?
Until people found out you were giving out fake money, and then they came and killed you. Then you wouldn't need maize. No, last 6 turns per level.
Oh, never mind.
So you need to be wandering. You need to be, right?
You're going from place to place. You're creating the stuff. You're spending all your money, and then beat feeding out of town.
So what do you do if you're a merchant? How do you protect? So this should be, well, there aren't that many illusionists that are that high level, right? Because if you think of how high level do you have to be to cast 5th level spells?
Well, the good news is you have to be 10th level.
Oh my gosh! So this is terribly unusual. So they're not going to be on if they've never seen it. I mean, how often do you have a 10th level illusionist come through?
And if you're trying to fake out a merchant, wouldn't it just be easier to charm them?
No, this is funnier.
Oh,
This just disappears. He thinks he's been robbed.
Well, actually, you can't charge. You can hypnotize him.
He's not going to know.
Which, by the way, I've never understood. Why can an illusionist have charm person? Does that make any sense? They don't have charm person. That's what you'd ask.
What's the illusion? That I'm charming?
Well, they can do other things. They can hypnotize people.
I think that when you hit 10th level as an illusionist, you can then retire. You've basically literally hit the mother lode.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason to continue adventuring unless you have a death wish.
Right.
Because you can get anything you want.
Okay. I guess. Again, I look at it as in comparison to some of these other 5th level spells.
No, you don't. But you need those other spells. Or if you're off adventuring, you're not adventuring anymore. You're done.
Oh, I see. You've retired.
Why wouldn't you?
Right. You're the guy who's going to the casino, right?
Oh,
you're taking the bus trip to the casino. Well, you're an old retired illusionist, and you're showing up with your free buffet, and you have your thing of gold.
Yes.
And you're there for 8 hours, and then the bus leaves, and the gold disappears.
Yeah, and right.
It's perfect. Or like those day cruises.
Oh.
You know how they leave offshore and they go gamble for 8 hours and they come back? You
You take a Viking cruise.
Well, that's more than one day, but yeah.
But, yeah, you go from town to town, up and down the dial. You just go to port to port.
Right.
And you're gone.
Yeah.
That's what it'll be. We'll have a cruise for 10th level retired illusionists.
That's right.
We'll take you.
But eventually the locals are going to catch on to that. They're going to be like, oh, here they come, all those illusionist tourists with their fake money.
Why couldn't it have just been the Vikings?
That's right. We'd rather have the Vikings take our stuff than these.
Not the illusionists.
Because they haggle too. They're even haggling with us.
Does he have a little sign? No illusions welcome.
That's right. No illusionists. How would you know that?
That's the problem.
Right.
So yeah.
Because they'd have changed self. I'm not an illusionist.
Right.
Exactly. No, I love it.
Okay. That's great. That's my goal now, is to play an illusionist,
to get to
reach 10th level, and then I am retiring, but I expect you to each week run a quote adventure for me as I go to use that money.
Okay.
Because that's the fun. It's not like just
well,
you're not.
Well, you have to earn the 10th level. You're not.
No, I understand that.
I mean, this is first edition.
Yeah, that would be boring.
We don't give out levels.
I'm 10th level immediately. Can I now go like spend this money?
That's right. Spend this fake money.
That doesn't sound like a lot of fun.
Okay. I think that's a good place to stop right then and there. So major illusion, major creation, meh.
Someone's gonna like tweet it or something. Or whatever the kids do. I don't know what they tweet, Instagram in.
Yeah.
And explain why we can't do any of that stuff we just said.
I don't know. Has anyone said that, Nico?
No.
We haven't looked in the DMG. What does it say? We should always check.
That's true.
Right? Just to make sure.
That is the crib notes when it comes to
because what Gygax is going to say is, note, this cannot be used to make money.
Yeah, and if it did, then you will be sad.
Oh, that'd be horrible. That'd be really sad. Oh, no. He doesn't know. He got tired of writing. He stopped at... Oh, wait, no, it's 5th level. I'm sorry. I was thinking 10th level. There's obviously no 10th level spells. No, it just has Shadow Door. It wasn't even worth noting.
Right, exactly. That tells you everything you need to know.
I love it. I love it.
I think it's great.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna make all this money, and I'm gonna wander around with a food dog.
Or you could be that person, those people that put dollar bills on them. They walk around town, they hand out money, like an altruistic person.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
Spend it fast, kids.
That would be even more chaos and random. Better than ripping off the merchants.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the top of a tower
and just throw
just dump money everywhere.
At people. Exactly.
This is terrible. When when this money flies everywhere on the interstate or whatever, and then everyone's grabbing it. It's not your money.
Right. Well, it's not.
You're a bailee. You don't have ownership of it. The Baylor does. It's not yours.
Oh, here we
you
go.
need to return it. But no, I think you got a great idea there. You just dump the money right in town square.
Right.
Okay.
You just show up, and it's kind of like what the Joker did in the original Batman, right? He was throwing money around or something. Mm-hmm. He was shooting out, and then he was using that as a way to get what you really want. That would be a good adventure.
Yeah, you know what'd be good too? Is the final treasure in an adventure. Mm-hmm. You should do this to your party.
Right.
They got this big pile of gold, and then on the way back, it disappears.
Oh, they would love that. That would be amazing. I'm sure.
You said you wanted to get rid of some of your players.
They don't go away. I had 10 players, right, Nico?
I'm giving you ideas, and you're not taking them.
I've tried everything.
Not this.
Well, that's true. I killed 2/3 of them last time. They're still back.
They're too high level. They keep. What happens? They just roll up new characters.
No, they get raised.
They get raised.
They got money.
They're making their contracts.
They're doing major. They're doing major. Yeah.
No one's a badger or.
No, anyone who they're all humans or people that can be raised. So.
Well, meaning they came back. Well, if you don't come back, isn't there one where you come back as a badger?
No, that's reincarnation.
Oh, okay.
They haven't decided to do that. They've gone with the raised dead. So okay, I think we're done with that. Now in our word of recall segment, we're here to talk about halflings because we kind of did in the order of the player's handbook, right? It was. Half elves would be next, but we kind of talked about that, and I don't really want to spend a whole lot of time discussing the half elf between elf and human. We talked a little bit about it, so we're going to talk about halflings.
Other than the awesome fact that they can be cleric rangers, but moving on.
Right, that is their claim to fame.
Okay,
cleric ranger. Mm-hmm. So, what is there to say about halflings?
Well, can I first? I think we should have a segment called "Good Hits and Bad Misses." Where, we talk about the good things we've done, bad things. I think we did have a little bit of a fumble last week.
We did?
Well, I did anyway.
Okay, what happened?
And it's been pointed out by our devoted listener, Ron. So we're talking about, gnomes are third or whatever. That's awesome, right? They're high in the hierarchy to Gygax. and it was pointed out that they're listed alphabetically.
Yes,
that was a fumble by me.
Yeah,
that was me. I didn't even pick up on that.
Yes, Ron did that, and did notice that. Which he's a very faithful listener and very attentive. So I appreciate what Ron said, and yes, he did point that out.
So so everything I was all excited about with gnomes being ahead of halflings.
You're excited about a lot of things that don't really matter, like gnomes.
Yeah. So stop.
Which, by the way, I was putting pictures of Twitter of gnomes dying horrible deaths. Got a lot of likes on that.
That's what we sung to boost ratings.
I just
soon we'll go blue.
Gnome snuff porn, basically just gnomes being murdered. What's that site they used to have where you could watch people dying? It's watching gnomes murdered.
So here's the sad thing. Mm-hmm. My gnome is never going to get the endless gold, is he? Because my gnome can only go up to what levels in Illusionist?
Not enough. That's right.
Oh man, is there any magical way to advance levels?
Yes. You have to
Tell me, DM James.
You have to, well, I don't know if you can get to 10th level. That would be pretty impossible.
What is it? How do you?
You have to raise your attributes high.
No, well, I mean, it's not an attribute thing, right? For gnomes, even with attributes.
Well, you at least have to get to 7th level at a minimum. You have to get 18.
You said I got to get to 10th level.
Well, then you need like an ion stone that would raise you a level.
Okay.
You get a couple of them. That would be helpful.
You get an extra level for each one?
It depends on the kind of ion stone you have.
Oh, so you can. So I could be a 10th level gnome.
You could, potentially. You could get I think they're allowed to use Book of Gainful Conjuration or whatever the alignment was, where you can gain a level.
Oh.
Now, your DM may argue, no, it won't let you go beyond the level limits. But I would think an ion stone, because it's temporary, would let you go above it.
Oh, it's temporary. So I have to make a lot of gold fast?
It was temporary in that it's only effective when it's spinning around your head.
Oh, okay. So basically, I'm creating the gold while it's spinning around my head.
Yeah, it would be the same thing like having a ring of protection. It's permanent, but it's only when the ring is on there.
Okay.
I would probably rule if you had an ion stone, it would let you go beyond the level limits.
Because I just need to be at that limit for some point in time. To get that money.
Because it's a magic item. It's just like, when you're using a girdle of giant strength, you don't have that strength. You're not permanently altered to do it, but you have the strength.
That's funny.
It is girdle. Okay. Thank you.
You're wearing a girdle.
Hey, if I had a girdle of storm giant strength, that would be amazing.
You don't make fun of someone's girdle.
Right.
When it's a girdle. You gotta be careful if you make fun of someone's girdle, don't you?
No,
in D&D?
That's right. It's not.
You have no idea.
It's something you don't want to mess around with.
You have no idea what kind of girdle.
That's a very cute girdle. Oh, you just crushed me. You snapped me in half.
Help. Is there a cleric? Is there a cleric in?
Because as he throws you, right? Because I think they can throw rocks if you have a girdle of storm giant strength. You can throw objects like 100 feet.
Time for a system shock check.
Yeah, that's painful.
Coming back.
Yeah. Well, hopefully. That's the problem with dying, is that eventually it's impossible to get raised.
There's nothing more awesome than a system shock check. That's hard to say, right?
Yeah.
Everyone gets around, right? Because you really shouldn't be failing it, right? Because it's, they're pretty high percentages, right? I mean, resurrect, right? Because system shock is like if you become
polymorph.
stone or something.
Yeah, and polymorph.
Right. So resurrection, they're very close, but so resurrection, you really should get it. But
once you get,
oh, you're right. Look at that.
Once you get below average, you're hurting.
That's right. That's right.
I think Nico's character's died a couple of times. What's his constitution now?
13.
Yeah. See, so.
Well, 90%. Yeah, but
that's still okay.
Yeah, but 10% chance you're not coming back. It's a high percentage chance.
That's right.
If I was like, there's a 10% chance you're gonna die today, you'd be like, that's not good.
That's not good.
I don't like that.
Those are bad odds.
I'm not gonna get a little nervous.
When I try to tell, hopefully my wife doesn't see the damage on her car, or else my chance of dying may be higher.
Oh wow, she doesn't know yet.
No, but I'm pretty sure it was damaged before in the same place, so it's okay.
Oh, does she watch the podcast?
No.
Perfect.
We're safe. She doesn't care.
Excellent.
I could talk about where I stash money here, and I wouldn't have to worry about it from her. So
nice.
She doesn't care about it.
Okay, so go ahead and tell us.
No.
Where do you stash money?
Oh.
Why?
Oh, my real money or my major creation money? My major creation money, I will tell you, it's downstairs. Oh, look at that! The power. We just had some power flippage.
So can they still hear us? Do you think?
I hope so. Is the internet still working?
This is like that time Carlos was interviewed, and I'm sorry. The Chamberlain's most renowned, illustrious Baron, irresistible emulator of Cleveland, aka Cubed, had the power go off.
Oh, really?
When it was being
he was
interviewed, and
he
he had to go. Yeah, so it was like.
We'll see.
It was like an episode of Blair Witch Project.
Vic says he can hear us.
Yeah, we had a power fluctuation here. Thank goodness for our battery backups. So,
are you sure? Thank goodness. Sorry, guys, we're still here.
That's right.
All right, halflings.
Yes.
So what's interesting about halflings do have adjustments. They're weak. -1 to strength.
Right.
+1 to dex.
Yep.
Right.
And by the way, I'm showing it again. A lot of the articles about the different demi-humans point of view, is from. It was compiled in Best of Dragon Volume 3. We're also looking at the Player's Handbook, Monster Manual, DMG. Go ahead, sir.
So here's something that's interesting. We talked about this before, where Gary Gygax said that he did make a mistake on.
Are you starting with that? That's down here, but okay.
Oh, sorry, I jumped around.
I mean, it's the only controversy.
Well, the problem is because we're talking about -1 strength, +1 dex. It sort of brings it up.
Okay,
you know what I
bring it
mean?
up.
But
That's
I don't know. But we can wait and talk about that.
No, it makes a lot of sense. Go ahead.
Right, because it's the +1 dex was what made things confusing, because the con was the 19 max, the dex was the 18. Why would you have +1 dex? Why wouldn't you have +1 con? And that got people to wondering.
Right.
You know, it's a minimum of con 10, minimum of dex 8. Should those be switched too, I wonder? So do you need to have a minimum of 10 dex?
Oh, I don't know.
To be but you know what? That's never going to be an issue, because let's face it, every halfling is going to be a thief.
So now I'm going to give this. How frequent are halflings?
Great question. I'm going to go with uncommon. I almost went with rare, but I'm going to go with uncommon.
You should have went with rare.
Well, see, it was like, can I do like a medium rare? You know what I mean? Like a steak, like in
Very
between.
Well, no.
Yeah, because there's some meat. You know, there's in betweens. There's like rare. There's rare plus.
Rare plus? I've not heard.
Yeah, rare plus is in between rare and medium rare. That's right.
I thought medium rare is between medium and rare.
It is, but rare plus is in between. Is a further.
It's
division.
like southwest.
Exactly.
Oh,
exactly right.
Are you sure you're not making this up?
I'm not, because at one time I was debating between rare and medium rare.
I think they made it up for you, like the gold that you made up. They're like,
yeah.
You were trying to explain the exact level of temperature and color, and they're like, oh, we have rare plus.
Rare plus. She needed to move on. I've got like 8 other tables, kid.
Right. They just
hey, is it here in my steak handbook? And I've got the steak handbook out.
And so you go places and ask for rare plus, and I wonder how many people figure it out that someone just, maybe it's an inside joke that all restaurateurs have, because rare plus.
Maybe we should put Nico on that. Rare plus, is that a thing?
Well, at the Howard Johnson's, I know that's not the finest steakhouse.
No, Howard Johnson's, you always get it well done.
Yes.
Don't get it rare.
I don't think there's a choice. You can call it whatever you want. You were getting
it's coming back.
It's coming back, a briquette.
Yeah, you know you're at a good steakhouse and they won't do it.
That's right.
But you know, you appreciate that, because they're basically being honest.
Right.
No,
you don't want to eat it anyway.
You don't want to.
You want to clear all pathogens from the steak.
From that one, right.
So what's their hit dice? This is very interesting.
Oh, which means it's clearly not 1. You gotta be kidding me. It's 1 minus 1?
No.
I would say it's 1.
No.
What?
1 to 6 hit points.
1 to 6 hit, which is not 1 minus 1, of course. It's sort of.
It's less than that's.
It's really not.
It's up to 1 minus 1.
It's not 1 minus 2. Not really, because that would be a different spread. You'd have more.
They're weaker
ones.
than goblins, then basically.
Okay.
Because goblins, I think, are 2 to 7.
See, which is why they're con. Why would they have a con? But they have a high con. Even if you switch the numbers out on the dex and the con, they have a minimum con of 8.
Right.
So I guess they're hardy, but they don't have a lot of hit points because they're small.
Right.
Okay.
Well, and their resistance is basically what Roger Moore says is a lot of their things were given to them by their god. Was it Yoldana? What's her name?
The Daisy, the Great Daisy.
Is that really her name?
No, but I think she has a Daisy.
I was gonna say, because you're making
this
like
rare plus.
Like rare, yeah, exactly. That would make. Sometimes I'm not sure what's truth and what not.
Yeah, you can't trust a thing we say on this podcast.
Yondala, the provider.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, we're really segueing here. Yes, they get a decrement to strength, right? They get a plus to dexterity.
Yes. -1 strength, +1 dexterity. So let's talk about it. So they can't be many things, unfortunately, right? So the halfling cleric, no. Druid in parentheses, which is a bummer, because I think halfling druid would be pretty awesome, but it's only NPC.
So that is interesting, because in the article, which again is not canon, as we've said, they do talk about druids and clerics.
Well, there are druids. They're NPCs.
No, I understand, but it says
And
cleric.
Oh, cleric.
Yes, I'm pretty sure I read that, but keep going.
Yeah, no, that would be unusual. Fighters, maximum of 6 level, and
Right.
that is only if the halfling fighters of hare-feet subrace, as well as all other types of subraces, why do they say as well as all other, with a strength of under 17, are limited to 4th level.
Right.
So 17 is 5th. 8. Can you imagine a halfling with it? Can halflings have 18 strength?
I think they have 17.
Okay, they can have 17 strength.
Unless they're a female, and then they really get jacked.
Okay, hold on. Let's talk about this because I've gotten confused.
Okay.
So halfling can go up to 6 levels fighter.
Yep.
If they have a strength of under 17, they're limited to 4th level. So that must mean if they have 17, and then it says tall fellows of 17 and stouts of 18 strength can work up to 5th level. So tall fellows of 17 and stouts of 18. So it actually varies based upon, I never really noticed that.
Right, which we haven't even covered what kind of halflings there are, but go ahead.
Can work up to 5th level.
Right.
But how do you have an 18? I know we're going to get into this talk. Now, yes, you can get an 18 strength.
Tall fellows that somehow obtain 18 strength can work up to 6 level.
Why does it not have that for stouts? Stouts it says of 18 strength.
Right.
So it doesn't seem to suggest that that's anything unusual, but it says it's a 17 strength max.
Mm-hmm.
But then it makes it sound like stouts. It's not unusual. Well, I
Right.
shouldn't say not unusual, but it's not. You don't need anything extraordinary, magical to give them an 18 strength.
Well, it's in the monster manual. It says that stouts can get to 18 strength, and tall fellows can get to 17 or 18.
Oh, so
strength.
this is very interesting. So that would override.
This was in the monster manual.
And the monster manual is post, obviously. Is post. No, it's first.
No, it's first. It came out
well,
first.
but clearly it says it here in the. So
I think it confirms what that is. It's basically saying that you're going to be considered what's that? The hairy one. What's the normal one? That's
the hare feet.
Hare feet is what you're supposed to be. It's kind of like a high elf, right?
But you can be any. It says.
Okay.
It says it in the player's handbook, I believe, on halflings. It says you can be any. Yeah, as player characters, it is assumed that any of the sub-races of the race of halflings can be considered as the halfling in question. So you can be any of the 3.
Okay.
Which becomes important now. Because a lot of people don't realize that there's several types of halflings. They have infravision differences, right? Isn't the ones that are above ground don't have any infravision,
right?
I believe.
And Roger Moore talks about why their difference was, and it's basically the ecology of them, that those that are closer to humans tend to be of a taller bent. Those who are closer to elves are a different kind. So that's interesting in that. I think he does a pretty good job trying to square some of the circles, because inevitably we only know halflings from the copyrighted version of that, which we've read, The Hobbit.
Right.
And it must have been hard to write that article, because he basically just said everything that was in The Hobbit. Why didn't he just say, please read The Hobbit?
I agree with that. You're right. It's basically drawn from that. But it's nice to have it as a little description.
And he says that few of them want to leave, and those who do have a sense of adventure, but they can never go back. I mean,
so read The Hobbit. So the hare feet is our typical one, right? Yep. So tall fellows are obviously taller,
right? They can
slimmer,
get up to 4 feet,
right? They can be stronger, so you could be so right off the bat, it's nice to be a tall fellow because you can have an 18 strength.
I would like to be a tall fellow.
Right.
You should.
Neither one.
You would like to be a tall fellow.
I think I would like to be a tall fellow. Right. Not too tall. But so they're taller.
Well, you're clearly not a stout. I'm more of a stout than you, so.
They're taller. They're so they can have 18 strength, which means they're the only ones, right? They can go to 6th level. Is that it?
No.
If somehow you get strength, right? So stouts, no, they're the only ones.
Yeah,
tall fellows that gain 18 strength. Even if you have an 18 strength of a stout, you're going 5th level.
Right.
Tall fellows are the only ones that get up to 6th level. And you know what? They know Elvish. They can speak Elvish and are friendly with elves. Now, does that mean, do they get all the other languages too, the gnomes?
I would say so. It doesn't say they don't have it, right?
But the gnomes, don't you know gnomish because you're down there like burrowing and you run into a gnome who's burrowing the other way?
But that's what they're saying. The tall fellows, based on their ecologies, that's why they know that, because they're not in the same area. I know the tall fellows hang out in the trees, if I remember correctly.
They have also the ones that have.
Tall fellows live in forests, some in hollow trees, and have infravision like elves. They're and as well as being more lithe and elven in appearance. That's what Roger Moore says. Stouts are shorter than hare feet, live in caves and tunnel complexes, and have infravision. So that's how he squares that circle.
Okay, I think I'd like to be a tall fellow. Why wouldn't I be a tall fellow?
I still want to be a tall fellow. You're right.
Is there any reason, if you're playing a halfling, is there any reason not to? So which one doesn't have infravision? One of them doesn't have.
Right.
Infravision, right?
I think it should be a stout. No, they have must be the normal.
Mixed type and mixed blood have 30 foot distance, and pure stoutish blood have 60 infravision.
There you go.
So does that mean, but tall fellows?
Hare feet don't have any infravision.
The hare feet, right? So that's not good. The hare feet don't have any infravision. So that's a real. So you really probably don't want to be a hare feet,
right? Because they live near men.
Right. Certain halflings have infravision. Those of mixed blood, I know I'm just repeating what Nico said, get 30 distance. Well, those of pure stoutish. Wait, so did you say tall feet have infravision?
Yes.
Where does that come from?
Here, tall feet live in infravision and have infravision. Live in forests, some in hollow trees, and have infravision like elves. They're basically the Keebler elves.
But that doesn't say that in the player's handbook.
Oh well, that's too bad.
Well, but that's a problem for me because
Roger Moore.
Yeah, but that's not canon.
When he retired from the Bond movies, he started writing these things.
I don't think tall feet. I don't know. I don't like that. I don't. I keep saying tall feet, tall fellows. I don't know that tall fellows are going to have infravision. So do we have controversy?
I don't know. That's a good question. Does it matter? I guess it does.
It does matter because that would be a reason why not, right? So if you're mixed blood, well, it says if you're mixed blood. So if you're half stout, half tall fellow.
Right, then you would have 30 feet.
See, okay, right, because stoutish are really nice. The stouts are the ones, they're more below. Yes, see, stouts have infravision.
Right, because they're in the burrows more.
Right. So they're further down. Okay. Very confusing.
I don't even remember. I think we always gave them 30 feet.
Well, but the stouts get more, right? Don't they?
Yeah, stouts get sick. They get the normal infravision because they're
pure stoutish. You normally 60, mixed blood 30. I think it ends there. I think if you are a pure, well, what if you're a tall fellow, hare feet mix? Oh, that's because that's the 30 feet, isn't it? No, that's the mix. Why would you get it then? Don't you have to have some stoutish? I think that means you need to have some stoutish blood.
Right.
When they say of mixed type, with a Gygax, of mixed type, and those are pure stouts, that makes it sound like you've got to be half stout.
Yeah, basically the stouts are the ones and they can detect sloping passageways. And they speak Dwarvish.
So the stouts are the closest to dwarves and gnomes.
Right.
They're going to get the normal infravision.
Right.
They can detect stuff, right, like dwarves and gnomes. And then the tall fellows, you get the benefit of being stronger. Mm-hmm. What's the benefit of being a hare feet?
Nothing.
I don't think you get the infravision.
Yeah.
And you don't get the infravision.
Right. But what are you, a power gamer now?
Yeah. Well, no. I need to know who I'm. I need to know.
We didn't even worry. Here's another one. We didn't even
do.
worry about this because again, most people just said I'm a halfling and whatever that meant. And they would just look at it and go, okay.
But it doesn't every halfling be like, well, I'm a halfling. I have infravision. Yeah. And your player going to say that, and you're going to have to go, whoa. And what kind of halfling are you?
And we would say, you probably mixed blood.
Well, that's what they're going to say because they need.
No, they would say, "Oh, I want to be stoutish blood." Well, I don't know. No, you're going to be mixed blood. We always just assumed they were 30 feet, and I think part of that may have been from the basic set. I think they had limited things because our pedigree was when in doubt, we just followed what the basic box did because it was much easier to deal with, and we didn't worry about these things.
Okay.
But I don't disagree with what you're saying. I just think back in the day we didn't care.
Well, I think it's interesting that...
No, you're right. Now, again, Roger Moore says that the tall fellows have infravision, and I don't know where that is. So
Yeah, here. So Harefeet live near. So what was Bilbo and Frodo? They basically Harefeet live near men.
Right.
Have no infravision and reside in small cottages.
Yeah.
So they're the most human-like. Tallfells live in forest and that's the weird one. He says they live in forest. Where does he get that from?
It says it in there. If you look under Tallfell, under Monster Manual.
Taller, slimmer half, fair skin. They ride ponies and have spears. They speak Elvish, are very friendly with elves. That's all it says.
That's why I think he assumed from that.
Oh, so they're more like, all right, so the Tallfells are off in the forest with the elves. So he just added that. I don't know, he just added that. Stouts are shorter, live in caves and wait.
So the halfling is the Harefeet. That's and it even says Harefeet. I mean, that's what we recognize as the Hobbit.
But they're living in cottages. Well, yeah, they lived in cottages. But so a couple of them live in, because Bilbo lived in a burrow, right?
Kind of thing. Yeah,
right?
But it was yes. He wasn't a burrowing animal though, which was.
He wasn't really going down. He's going to the side of the hill.
It was inside the hill, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, and it was Hobbit hole. And you know what that means?
No.
Comfort.
Oh, very nice. What's the community saying? Is there anything relevant? Are we totally screwing the pooch on this?
No, they just brought up the original origin of the word.
Oh, the lawsuit deal, the cease and desist.
No.
Oh,
it's before where Tolkien got his Hobbit from.
Oh, where did he get it from?
Oh, originally halfling comes from Scots word Halfling.
Halfling. Okay. Scott word Halfling.
Meaning awkward rustic teenager who is neither man nor boy, and so half of both. Another word for halfling is hobbledehoy or hobby. The usage of this word predates both The Hobbit and Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, interesting.
The German surname Helbling has similar origin.
So there's these European words that I like. What is the Scottish half boy, half man?
Awkward teenager.
Awkward teen. It's Shaggy, basically.
You're such a halfling.
You're such a halfling. Get in my belly. Sorry. Okay. So classes and limits we talked about. Basically.
Oh, I'm not done with that.
Well, yeah.
They're so limited. The fighter, okay, because we were talking about. Well, we got into this with all these differences with the strength level.
Yeah,
and
you
all
went
that.
sideways. Yeah, no one's going to be a fighter if you're power gaming a halfling.
Okay, so let me ask you, what subclass, what subrace are you picking? You're a halfling. What are you going to pick? Assuming Moore's wrong, because I think Moore is wrong on the Tallfells having. Assuming that they don't get infravision, what are you going to be?
Well, I'm going to be a stout if I have.
You're going to be a stout,
right?
Because you get infravision,
right?
They're very rare, but the player's handbook says
unless
you can
I somehow magically get 18 strength and I wanted to be a fighter of 6th level, then I would be a tall fellow, but probably not.
So you're going to be a stout.
Yes.
You know, because you can detect the slopes and passages.
I get
you get
full
infravision,
and I could be if I did want to be a fighter thief, I could be 5th level.
Yeah. So stout makes the most sense.
Yep.
Tall fellow makes the most sense next.
Right. If I want all the bonuses.
Because you can get up to 18 strength.
Yeah.
And then.
Shagling, that's right. Ah, yes, shagling.
What does that mean?
It's like I said shaggy, so it's just shagling.
You got it. It's a hybrid of shaggy and
that's right.
A shagling.
That's right.
So, okay, all right. So that's the first thing you have to decide if you're going to play a halfling is which one, and be prepared to know what the consequences
Assuming you're
are.
going to be a fighter, and I mean, if you're going to be a thief, you definitely want to be at least either mixed blood.
You want to be stout. There's no reason to be mixed blood.
Right.
You get 30%.
Or 30 feet. Yeah.
Right, so you're going to be a stout. I'm a halfling who lived in a burrow. Because you detect you want to detect passages.
Sure.
So okay, so if you're going to be the classic halfling thief,
and not play the Tolkien one, which would be the hair fellow.
Right.
Hair whatever.
Right. Well, he wasn't a real thief. He just sort of got.
He's a burglar.
Well, he was designated a burglar. So okay, so that you should be a stout. Okay.
Right. Okay. And as far as the personality, they talk about, again, all the traditional things that you think about, the second breakfast, and they like comfort and blah, blah, blah. And again, it always comes back to gnomes. Halflings can be annoying. Dwarves are, dour. The gnome kind of splits the difference, because halflings can be annoying in they're like a small child that you've got to pack up when you take them to the theme park.
Yeah, I think that if you're traveling as a halfling, you should bring along a lot of comforts, right? Should be like a nice sleeping bag.
Right. They want all kinds of things, pillows and
a good book maybe
books,
too, some candles,
some pipe weed.
Yeah, right. So it's like it's what is it? What's the camping? Glamping?
Glamping. Yeah, sure, exactly. Some kind of pop-up camper. They want the whole thing, and because they need second breakfast. You're not leaving at first dawn.
Oh no.
It's probably noon or 1 before you get out.
Oh, and it's not iron rations, is it?
No, absolutely. It's cooked food over a fire, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, so you should really play that up. And what I thought was interesting, Moore says that halflings tend to adventure not to make money, just to have... So dwarves adventure, they like to... Well, they'll actually, I think they said dwarves. Didn't Moore say dwarves? No, is it gnomes? Who's the one that's getting money to make more money? Was that dwarves?
That was dwarves.
That was dwarves, because they really like to accumulate wealth.
Right.
Halflings like to be able to buy comfort. So they want that better burrow, right, or that better cottage.
Right.
So that's why they're adventuring.
Part of it, the other part of it was, again, it's the whole took. They have a took in them. I mean, he doesn't say that in the article. Right. He says that they tend to be a little retrograde because of their close-knit community. They don't go out and... They don't have issues with strangers, but they kind of fall back to the comfort and the known, almost a stasis type of society. And so, like any society, there are people who don't want that, and they have an adventure streak, and that's what he's claiming. And
so I think if you're playing a halfling, you should have an explanation as to why you're out adventuring, don't you think? Because this is unusual.
Right.
Right. What are you doing?
And it talks about once you've gone adventuring, you really can't go home. You can go home, but you're always perceived as a little sketchy.
Right. Though also revered in a strange, right? So there's an ambivalence toward you, I think.
Right. It's I don't know what the proper analogy is, but it's similar to, your
Bilbo.
Yeah, you're Bilbo. Well, they talk about you're a defender. You're doing things that are great, but you've been tainted. It's almost like if we're here in the United States, we have a strong military, we have a strong tradition of military. But if you didn't have that, where you had to go to war, and it wasn't really part of the culture, people would be like, "We appreciate that you do that, but you're not. We know the war has changed you,
right?
And now you're unfortunately not one of us anymore.
A little different.
Yeah, we admire that you were willing to change, but you're not really one of us again."
Right.
And I think that's kind of the only modern analogy is if you've been to as a soldier, as someone who's gone to war and seen the horrors of war and experienced and survived, you come back, you can't articulate to anyone who's not been through it those issues.
Right.
And so civilians who haven't been through it, they appreciate that, but they can't reconcile some of the things. It's almost that kind of thing. And you know that. You've seen that in the Lord of the Rings, the last one, when the four are sitting in the tavern and they're kind of reminiscing about what happened. They're there, but they're not there. They've left the Shire. All the innocence is lost. When you've seen Nazgul and everything else,
But I like how didn't Moore say that if they come back to their town and there's been evil is afoot, they then all of a sudden feel they want to defend their town. So they don't lose this attachment to their town. And even though they've been off adventuring and are looked upon differently. And of course I'm thinking, well, he's talking about the Scouring of the Shire. Isn't it the Scouring of the Shire?
Yeah.
They come out, what was your views on the fact that was eliminated from the movie, The Scouring of the Shire? I mean, I know you're upset about Tom Bombadil being out.
No. Tom Bombadil, in fact, I was watching some videos about that, and someone else I'm sure there's more. Apparently, Tolkien just loved that character. He has no plot purpose. There's no reason for him to be in there. None.
Because I think there was a poem about Tom Bombadil.
Yes, he loved the character.
Poem, right?
At least he was.
I do too.
I don't know if it was canon that Tolkien just said he left it in there because there's completely no plot. There's no plot association with it. He's never brought up again.
We're ones to talk about digressions.
Right.
We're in a glass house on that one.
We are in a glass house, but Tom Bombadil is part of the Shire thing, part of Lord of the Rings, and the issue of when the Hobbit and going out and doing that. It's anyway. I lost my train of thought because Tom Bombadil. You're
so upset. Do you need a moment?
No, it's
Nico. Take over.
We're talking about the Scourging of the Shire. I remember now. Scourging of the Shire. I'm thinking of the scourging of my car as it got damaged. That's the issue. So
that's really what's.
Yeah. So because I got to explain that to Sauron, the Dark Lord of the house,
the
Mistress of Pain.
Yeah.
So the scourging, I think what it was, I think they killed off Saruman in a very dramatic. Because Saruman, I don't think dies in the original. Spoiler alert.
I'm trying to remember what happens. He certainly doesn't die in Orthanc or they're falling from whatever that is.
Right. Well,
he wanders.
Yeah, because he's the one who scourges the Shire, right? He's the one who sets up the big industrial complex, the sweatshop, the Halfling sweatshop out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think they kick him out later. So it doesn't sound like if I recall, I don't think they killed him. I just remember it was kind of awkward. It's like, oh, everything's great, and then you go back and it's like this. Yeah. Back to the Future hellscape.
No, that's real life. You're like, wow. That was done with that mission. This is great. Right. You get home.
So I think it was while it may have made sense for the book, it makes sense they didn't do that because they wanted to end it with. They went back. They saved the Shire, but
what they should have done instead of making 3 Hobbit movies, they should have made one of those movies, The Scouring the Shire. Right? Have a little, it could have been an extra.
But the whole purpose of the thing was they were here to protect the Shire. That just seems like a kind of troll job to do that at the end.
Too. So they know better than Tolkien. Okay.
Well, I don't know if they know better. I think for the movie, because most people are not. They're not reading. What did you have? The Tolkien. What is that? Lord of the Rings Atlas.
And Forster's whatever little dictionary. Guide.
Yeah.
So you need both of those. You need if you're going to read Lord of the Rings, you need the Atlas. And you need the guidebook next to you. So when there's this poem that has these unusual names, you can look it up in the guidebook. You know who it is. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, you can follow along the travels.
Most people don't do that. So that's why, for most people, the person who wants to just see an entertaining movie, they're not going to this Scourging of the Shire, and then there's a poem when the hobbits are being taken away or something.
I brought my Atlas and guide to the movies in the theater. And when they mentioned somebody, I'd look it up and I'd whisper.
Did you let
to my friend Edward next to me, like, oh, this is the, he was the third this and this.
Shut up. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk, can we talk about racial preferences?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, what does Roger Moore say about that before we talk about racial preferences?
Oh. I can't. I was actually reading it while you were trying to open the gate.
Oh, so a lot of prep time.
It wasn't the best read.
Yeah, it says that they generally get along with people because of their stature of being kind of, obviously the weakest of the demi-humans. It's in their best interest not to piss off larger people.
Okay, well, let's see.
Unlike the gnomes who are kind of like trying to stick it to the man, the halflings are like, well, it's probably better they think of us as cute little half children and
Are we including Unearthed Arcana?
We can if it's relevant. Do they have something relevant about it?
Well, because in the player's handbook, halflings can only be fighters, thieves, and fighter thieves.
Right.
And I think what Vic was saying in the Unearthed Arcana, they can be
the book that should be not named. Yeah.
Oh,
yes, they can do all that now. Yeah, gnomes can be all kinds. They expand the whole section, and they can be higher level because the big rule. Just quickly from the book that shall be not named. The 2 things it allowed is obviously a lot more combinations. In fact, so many that they forgot to put the chart in. They had to add the chart after the fact. They had to I guess we didn't put all the combinations. And the second one is if you are single class in if you are demi-human of a single class, you're allowed to go 2 levels higher than if you were multi-class in it. So the limits that they have, which we don't need to go back to, let's say if it said 5th level for fighter or 6th level for fighter, you could actually go to 8th level fighter if you were a single class demi-human. So again, things you don't have to worry about. Yeah, that's right. La 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 la. Okay. So I assume they're all kind of tolerant.
Well, it's going to vary based upon your sub-race.
Oh, interesting.
So with dwarves, it's good. Only stouts regard dwarves as acceptable. Other halflings tolerate them. Wait, okay, I'm confused with this because it says G. It says goodwill.
Right, that's almost a preferable.
Did you just yawn?
Yes.
Wow. The viewers must be even worse.
My coffee's not doing it today.
Okay. So wait, what does acceptable mean? That means goodwill, basically? I guess that's the same as goodwill, because there's a G next to it. Yes. So halflings stouts like dwarves, all others just tolerate them. And I can see, does anyone like dwarves?
Other dwarves.
Right, other than other dwarves. So they prefer them. Elves hate them, basically. They don't hate them, it's antipathy. Gnomes, oh, and there's goodwill.
Right.
Okay. Half-elves are neutral. Only stouts have goodwill. Half-orcs hate them, and humans are neutral. Yeah, like what's the most liked race?
So I would say halflings would be.
Dwarves have goodwill toward halflings, but only regard to tall elves and stouts. All others are tolerated. Elves tolerate them. Gnomes have goodwill. Half-elves are neutral. Halflings prefer them. Half-orcs are even neutral with that's how you tell what half-orcs think of you, right? Neutral is though they tolerate humans. That's interesting, and they're neutral with halflings. But so halflings, so they basically get along fine enough with dwarves. Goodwill, only tall elves regard elves as good company. Other halflings tolerate them. So we saw that before. We talked about that.
Yeah, they're pretty much liked by everyone, and
yeah,
because they're cute. Why wouldn't you like them?
Well, I mean, let's face it. I mean, teenage.
So they open their mouth.
I don't know. They're teenage boys. Well, you're not teenage. That's personal.
He is. He's a Scottish halfling.
What's yours? Is there antipathy? Is it Nico and James? A.
Read it with antipathy. It's not strong hatred. No, I think we tolerance and generally acceptable if not loved.
So why would you play a fighter, just a halfling fighter?
Because you wanted to role play something like that.
Yeah, right, because that's it.
That's it.
Because the rest of your party's like, well, you're going to be a fighter? Yeah, I'm going to be the fighter. Who wants to be the fighter? I'll be the fighter. All right, awesome. James is a fighter. All right, James, what race are you? Halfling?
I would do that if I didn't have good scores. If you're just basically, if you roll scores, if you don't get an 18 strength, you're like, well, forget it. I might as well be a halfling. What's the difference?
You get high dex.
And you get, right, then you could do dual wield.
Oh, that's true. Well, that's why people want to be, yeah, right.
Have a high armor class.
So it's usually going to be fighter thieves, though, right?
Right. Well, the classic is you're going to be a thief. If you're going to go fighter, just go fighter. Because you're not going up at too many levels. You might as well enjoy it. Because the thief, you can be unlimited. So why would you limit yourself? I mean, the preference run is that. And the reason is because they have racial bonuses to their thieving skills, which are probably, besides climbing walls, is some of the best racial bonuses for a thief.
Right. So the question is, if you're going to play a thief, why wouldn't you play are people going to boo if you pick to play a thief and you don't pick halfling? Are people going to be unhappy with you? Like, I'm a half-orc thief.
Well, half-orc thief is not the most... everyone else, the pluses are not as good. The halfling thief, literally, when you net out their pluses, they get like plus 25% on their skills. Mm-hmm. Whereas everyone else gets close, but not as good. Gnome is next at plus 20%. So what I'm doing here is on page 28 of the Player's Handbook, it has the base chance for thieving skills, and then it has racial benefits. So thieves, dexterity, halflings have a bonus to dexterity. They also have a lot of benefits to their thieving skills. That's why they are preferential to that.
Okay, if you assume that...
Which again is a big deal.
Elves can be a 19 dexterity.
Right.
So elves really rival halflings in many respects as the best thieves. Would that be fair to say then, potentially?
It depends on what it is, yeah.
Depends on what it is. If we did a straight across the board adding of numbers, who's got the best between elves and...
Well, it depends what kind of thief you want. Now, the thieves that we tend to have in our campaigns, they have one job. Well, they have two jobs. Find and remove traps and open locks. That's their number one job. Then number two is move silently and hide in shadows and that kind of stuff. So if that's what your goal is, then clearly being a gnome thief is the way to go.
Oh yeah, the only thing, so the elf and the halfling are equal on pickpockets. Right, the halfling is 10 better on open locks, is 5 better on find and remove traps, is 5 better on move silent, is 5 better on hide in shadows,
right,
is even on hear noise.
They're terrible at climbing.
So they're terrible at climbing, and they're only down 5. So yeah, so it's really, as long as you don't mind the hit on climb walls,
right,
which is, not that big a deal. So it sounds like halfling is superior, and you can, and if you
unless you're specializing on a certain type of halfling, a special type of thief.
What happens if you get a 19 dex as an out? There's no addition. There's no modifications. I know what you're going to say.
You have to go in the deities and demigods to look.
It gives thieving adjustments?
I believe so.
For 19?
I believe so.
Oh.
I believe so.
Well, that's right. Oh.
There it is. Let's see.
So because you're godlike.
Yes, you have above thing. That's why everyone got this. They were very sneaky. Oh, sorry about that.
That one goes.
This is the day I shouldn't have got up.
That's not.
There it is. Thieving adjustments, 19.
Wow. That's very useful. So there it is.
And yeah, I think everything else is the same except you get more. So here's the difference. So what's pickpockets for 19?
Is plus 15%.
Okay. So it's only 10 for. So it's go ahead. Open locks.
Plus 20.
Yep. So it's 5% more. Locate.
Plus 10.
5% more. Move silently.
Plus 12.
2% more.
And plus 12 for hide and shadow.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of a bump.
Okay.
So but everything else is the same.
So the goal is to get a 19 dex.
Right.
Okay.
But is it really worth it? Meh. I mean, it's good. Because of the ones, if you want to go, if you're above 18, the best one attribute to get above 18 is probably strength, then constitution, then potentially wisdom or intelligence.
Right.
Depending on wisdom, if you have a 19 wisdom, I think you get and you're a cleric, you think you get a bonus 1 in first and fourth level spell. That's amazing.
But the only thing that you can be naturally a 19, well, dwarves can have a con. Oh, do you know what they are? I should have been a quiz.
Oh, it's a quiz now.
Right, dwarves, assuming that halflings, it's the dex. Is there anything else that is a 19? Right, we've already talked about the elves have a 19 dex. We're gonna
half orcs can be 19 con.
Yeah, there you go.
Dwarves can be 19 con.
That's it.
Oh, well, is this the fixed version of the halfling? That would be dex would be for them.
You're right.
And
right.
An elf.
Right, that's it. So there's 4. Right. There's 4 situations.
Yep.
In which you can have
that they can be altered permanently. Now you can do it through other means, like for instance, I don't know exactly what's ruled, but like a pearl of wisdom will give you +1 wisdom, and I've always ruled they can get to at least to 19.
I would think so.
Right. I don't think it allows for like 10 pearls of wisdom. You couldn't get to like 25. You could get, I think, 19. Short of something that is specifically says it can go above it, nothing can go above 19 for a human, unless you do wishes, and even then it's supposed to be 10%. So we talk about classes and limits. Again, you're going to be a thief. That's what you're going to do. Just like a gnome.
Or maybe a fighter thief.
I guess.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, what else? Can you be assassin?
No.
It's too bad.
No.
That would be amazing.
No, you're very limited. You're a fighter, and it's very low, and unlimited on thief.
Yeah.
A lot of no's.
Yeah, you're basically a fighter or thief. That's it.
Yeah, and the druid in parentheses, so you can't do that. Okay.
So there's not a whole lot to it. So really, you're becoming a halfling because you want to play the archetypal character.
Or you're the thief, so you'll be a halfling.
You're the all-around thief, because again, I would argue if you're going to be the way we use them, it would be better to be a gnome or a dwarf thief, because they have more bonuses to the areas that matter.
Wait, are there more? So some have a higher, but no one is as solid across the board.
That's right. They're the best overall.
Right.
But if I cared about specifically,
what do you care about?
Well, what do they always do? They find remove traps.
Oh, so you like the dwarf.
And they open locks.
Yeah, so you like the dwarf. I can see that. I understand why right. So you're right. I mean, the moose silently isn't bad. But yeah, you're right. You're right. The bread and butter of the thief.
The dwarf thief is a million times better.
And finding and moving, yeah, that's good.
Because the other thing that dwarves have that the other ones don't have, well, except for halfling. Both halflings and dwarves are good for this thing, for the traditional thing we use them for.
Right.
What do all thieves have to do that we use them in the game?
Well, I think they find and remove traps, right?
Right. And then what happens if the trap doesn't gets set off? What typically happens?
Well, it detonates on them.
But usually, what kind of trap is it?
It's a poison needle trap.
Right. And who has the best save? Dwarves and halflings.
Right, because the con.
That's right. So the dwarf, to me, if the dwarf thief for the way we play,
Yeah.
is the best, is the optimal.
That's a good point.
Way,
I
because
learned a lot about dwarves.
Because they have
halfling segment.
Exactly. But and again, gnomes are in the middle. Exactly. So if you don't want to go completely dwarf specialist, you could go with the gnome, which again is a pale. It's the milli vanilli.
No, this is very interesting. No, this has been very interesting because I would have thought, like it's between elf and halfling because the 19 decks.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. So what is the open locks and fine rooms? Yeah, you're right. I mean, you take a dwarf. What's the max dex on a dwarf?
17.
Oh, that
17? Yes. No.
Yeah. So that Gygax, he's making things rough on us.
Right.
So if you get an 18, so that's what hurts. So you get an 18, you could have a 19 if you are a halfling or an elf, or you can stay with the 17. You put 18 somewhere else, con.
Right.
And you do 7. So that's some tough choices there, isn't it? Because
that's why you be a gnome. That's why you go with the gnome. The gnome, the only thing you lose is climb walls, which you're like, meh, whatever.
Oh, the gnome is good on the open. It makes sense. The open locks.
Yep.
And
they're not as good, but they could have 18, right? They can have 18.
Bad.
They can have 18 decks.
A lot of choices. Wow.
So they can have 18 decks. So that's what makes them. So that's why Gnome Thief for the, the Tinkerer kind of thing is way better than. Not way better. The problem is the stats are so low, right? To pick a lock, to open, you have 20 or 30%. You need every advantage you can get.
Right.
Because it literally is. And again, if you play it where if they try to disarm the lock or trap and they fail, the trap goes off. I mean, that's the problem with the gnome is you don't get the plus bonuses to saves.
Yeah.
So, all three are good. They have their pros and cons. I would probably say Dwarf Thief for the way we play.
Very interesting. So in other words, if you're going to play Thief, don't just all of a sudden say, oh, Halfling.
Right.
It might.
For the non-scout Thief.
Right.
For the we're moving forward and we're not, we're just going to go down the hallway. We'll kick the door down, kill the things. Oh, there's a chest. All right, bring the dwarf in.
Right.
Let him open it and do that.
He's coming in, yeah.
Yeah, because if he fails, he's got a great save.
He's like the bomb squad.
Right, exactly. He's the squad, he's coming in, he's got the thing, he's shaking.
Quiet.
That's right. Red or white, I don't remember.
Okay, right. Which one was that?
Let's see. We talked about that. We talked about Tolkien. I think we covered it. Again, they're pretty limited in first edition, so they can only be two classes. Mm-hmm. And I think it's the problem with the Halfling, unlike some of the other ones, is it's really influenced by Tolkien. It's so typecast that you really don't have a whole lot of options when it comes to that. So that may be good or bad. Hey, did Vic want to come on? Is that something he mentioned?
The commander, yeah. My article is the commander and most astonishing patron crown prince. The Honorable Scourge of the North Star State had indicated he might be interested. He told me whenever. Whenever's pretty broad.
Yeah, whenever's pretty broad. Because I know he talked to you about it. I'm really struggling to open this. Okay, let's see if he's online. Because I know
how much Halfling talk he could take.
No, he's not on.
He's gone.
You want me to put that in the chat?
No, it's okay. Like I said, we need to get him on. Next week we'll be live. That's going to be. I can't do with chats. That'll be a big hassle. Do we have anything else to talk about when it comes? Now he's on. He's like, he's ready to get on. Okay.
Be online in 30 seconds.
Okay. All right. We're gonna get Vic on. See what he's up to.
Can we ask him what was happening while he was offline?
I don't know.
Is our official stance adverse against the UA or?
It's the book that shall be not named.
It's 1.5, right?
That's right.
I consider it 1.5.
It's
not officially 1.5. Officially, it's
the
first
codification of 1.5.
Get ready because I think Vic's going to talk about that.
Well, that's fine.
Also,
no. Can I leave?
Are we averse against the spells in UA? Because Cyber Heston says he uses the spells but disregards the rest of the book.
See, I think there are some spells. We've introduced Death's Door because it does speed up the game a little bit. So Death's Door, for those who don't know, it allows. Okay, so cool. Death's Door allows for you to recover if you allows people to heal. People who've gone from 0 to 9 and not have to spend a week to rest.
That's what that does.
Yes.
Okay. I think the idea of adding the spells isn't a bad idea.
Right.
I like more spells.
here, what I would suggest is I would say kind of like the player's handbook. I'm holding the player's handbook. That's kind of the base spells that people know and about. You would have to allow for research to give something that's kind of a mystery, and those would be the ones that they could try to figure out and drop them in. Because part of the thing is everyone knows, well, except us apparently, when it comes to major creation, they know a lot of the spells in here, and what's good about the Unearthed Arcane, the book that shall not be named, they have spells in there that you don't really know as well.
Well, and that's I think my suggestion on one of the other episodes was the Tomb of Mighty Magic,
right?
The little book, which is fun because people don't know these spells.
So I would be happy to allow that.
And I like cantrips.
Yeah,
like B.
That's right.
As you know.
Can't get away from B. Here, put your headphones on. We're gonna have to call.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we're gonna have to do this. See how this works.
Cyber Heston also said after this episode, check your inbox. I've now formally claimed Sweden.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Hey, how's it going?
Is he from Sweden or is he invaded?
Yeah, he's from Sweden.
Oh, so he didn't invade.
No.
Hey, hold on a second. Let's see. Oh, it says, oh, you don't have my camera here. Do you hear us? Vic, do you hear us? Yeah, I don't know why our picture's not working. So you'll just have to look on the internet while we're doing it. It may be a little disturbing. All right, let's get Vic on here. Yeah.
You need to change the scene.
Okay. Yeah, he's gonna mute us. All right. Let's see. Gotta get our friend. All right. All right. Boom. There he is. So we now welcome to our GrogTalk Skype channel. We have the commander and most astonishing patron, Crown Prince, and Honorable Scourge of the North Star, St. Vic Dorso. How are you, sir?
Just fine, gentlemen. Or I should, like I said, I'll use that term loosely with you two.
Please, yeah.
Isn't Vic too tall to be on this episode?
He's taller than us, so that we're bringing him on as our protector.
Oh, okay. Yes, right. We should befriend him.
That's right.
We have goodwill toward him because he's
right.
large.
That's right.
Oh, okay. So I'm the barbarian from the north then?
Yes, I like that. You said it.
Yeah. So
okay.
So what's going on?
I don't know. I should claim North Dakota now too, since I'm the barbarian of the north.
Well, we after when you come down in GrogCon in October, that may be up for grabs, North Dakota and various other Midwestern areas that are. I guess you chastised us for our poor geography, so I'm sorry about that. You're not telling me Japan and Australia are not next to each other? They feel like they're right there. Aren't they in the same time zone or something like that? They're pretty close.
And Hawaii's right in between.
Right. Hawaii's. I think you go Japan, Hawaii, Australia.
Mm-hmm. It's a day trip.
You need the production goblin over there, Nico, to make you a map.
The production goblin.
Oh, you're the production. I love that.
That's a good name.
Goblin. That's great.
Does it bother you? I love goblins.
That's right.
You should be honored. I'd love to be a goblin.
He's Nicro, the production goblin. That's awesome. So how is it going up there in the old school gaming world up there in Minnesota?
Just fine. Now, if you guys can listen in the background, you might hear my 3D printer printing off stuff for the Keep It Blood Red Falls. I think I just printed off like 12 Spriggans to throw in the Keep It Blood Red Falls for you guys. So It's gonna be sort of a more of a live action game now when we come down.
Okay.
And I'm going to, instead of building, I've been watching some videos online, instead of having full walls and stuff so that everybody's, doing, I think I'm going to make half walls. So it's when you're looking at it, it's easier to transport down to Florida and stuff. And you guys will be able to move the things, your people around, your little figurines and stuff. So.
Okay. So you obviously have a 3D printer. Have you used that in your game? And can you give us your experience? Because I know some of our folks, one of our people has Dwarven Forge, and we use Roll20 on a flat screen, but so obviously it doesn't have any vertical component. So what's been your experience with 3D printing, and what's the pros and cons with it when it comes to creating set pieces?
Okay. my first thing is with a 3D printer and you're building terrain and stuff is to make sure you have a level bed. Second thing is to make sure the extruder is working perfectly every time before you start building. And the third one is to format your SD card once a week to make sure that your builds go correctly. I've had a couple builds go totally off the wire, and I've had to rebuild some things. But well, if you hold on just 1 second here, I can grab an example.
Sure.
Hold on.
It's hard to find a good general contractor.
Yeah, that is. That is, and I'm glad to see that we can put our orders in for things that we would need, which is pretty amazing. So I just cannot justify the spend of ACDC.
I'm just handing out tractor. ACDC.
Yeah.
Australia.
That's another Australia thing. So okay, yeah.
Right here is a tent that I built for our group here in Minnesota that we're going to be putting up for the adventurers as they're going through the terrain and stuff. I've also made a horse here that will, you can see on the top here, we'll put the adventurers thing so we can actually have a line and spread it out so that when we're gaming, it's more realistic. Instead of them having them all bunched up as you normally see them, they're spread out, and I can bring combat in at different angles and stuff. It'll make it decidedly more difficult for them. And and then there's other little things that we do is
because that's what your game needs, more difficult combat.
Right, Vic Dorsa's games need
and then I've
more of a challenge.
The nighttime fireplace here that they will have for when they're in camping at night. So, we'll rule from there.
Vic, do you think that players should have to roll when they are on watch to see whether they fall asleep?
Yes.
I knew he'd like that.
Yes, well, what we do is, in my campaign is I put out a sheet that I've made, and I ask that everybody put which watch they're on, and then dependent on their watches, we sort of figure things out from there. Usually, they're pretty efficient at putting the infravision users and stuff, in at the latest nighttime,
right?
Like the dwarves and stuff, and then the humans are at the end of the spectrum, dawn and whatever. So they're pretty good about it. I've had a couple times where they've put the couple of humans in the middle of the night, which is always to my advantage, but they learn from their lessons. You got to teach the players lessons once in a while.
Sure, yeah, and usually the lesson is death, but. Where do you get those models? Do you make them yourself, or you download them and then figure it out?
I went up it's a website called Thingiverse.
Okay.
It's all free, and you can download them up there. And depending on how much you spend, I mean, you could spend just under $200 to get yourself a 3D printer. Now mind you, it's a 4x4 by 4 inch base that you can build, but how big do you want something?
Right.
I bought a 12 inch by 12 inch, so I can build the bigger things for my players and stuff. And that's eventualities. I'll start building even bigger stuff, except for right now I'm busy with the Keep of Blood Red Falls and all this enemies, gnolls, and spriggans and stuff like that. So
do you paint them then afterwards, or you keep them the color?
No, I've been painting them. It's all been a trial and experiment. I've looked for the cheapest way to do it. Some of these guys, I mean, they go all out. I've looked at how much money they've put into paint, and I'm just like, oh my God. So I've done the cheapest way possible is I've used clear Elmer's glue, and and then I went to Michael's and found all the paints that are on sale when they're having their sale. It's like, 50% off. I'm taking this paint set home.
Right,
and it's acrylic paint. So that's how I'm painting this stuff. I mean, it's all going to get knocked around anyways when you're going to different conventions and stuff like that. So why do you want to invest all this big money into paints when you're just going to be knocked around and stuff like that? So
I feel like we're going to have to step up our game. If he's got, we got Dwarven Forge, and we got Keep of Redwood Falls, which is going to be rendered, and then we have our tournament modules. Going to be like, Theater of the mind.
Graph paper. We should get some good graph paper. Let's splurge on it. All right, let's not get the cheap graph paper.
Graph paper at where did I get mine at? I got my rolls of graph paper. I think it was gamingpaper.com is where I got mine at.
Oh, rolls of it. That's cool.
That I got. It was mailed to me from gamingpaper.com, and
I was gonna stop by Target on the way
or
home.
Noble Knight has some. .com has it. I've bought some from there too, and that it's the big stuff that's 12 feet long, and you can just cut it. That's what I did to keep up Blood Red Falls with.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds really cool. And where was that again?
NobleKnight.com or gamingpaper.com.
I'm gonna write that down. Noble Knight.
Oh yeah, nobleknight.com has a lot of good things.
Oh, you know that place?
I do. I've bought stuff from nobleknight.com.
Nice.
To be sure.
So what besides obviously printing it up, and I think that's going to really be an awesome adventure that you're going to have that set up. What other things are you working on before October? Because you're also participating in something else in October, right? Is there another convention you're working on at the same time, or is this the only convention you do?
If I can get everything together for to keep up Blood Red Falls and stuff, I think I might head down to Game Hole.
Okay.
Game Holes. But that's a if. I mean, I've got so many projects going right now. I've got I'm doing the final edit right now of the Keep Up Blood Red Falls. I'm looking for another cover artist because the one artist has bailed on me, and so I've got to get the cover artist back together, another cover artist together, and get that done. And what I want to do is possibly next month, if I get everything complete with maps and everything, is send it to the printer, have him do the what do you call that? The preprint for me, send it back so I can proofread it and stuff, and then I will probably get my Kickstarter going before the end of September.
Nice.
Possibly if I could do this right, have it all done by the time I get down to GrogCon, have the final piece, and then be able to hand those out to you guys, and we'll have some fun.
And once you get the Kickstarter going, let us know because we'll promote that. It's there are people that I've supported in Kickstarter, so that's a great thing. That's great to hear, Vic. That's awesome. So yeah, we've got some really cool things coming up with that.
It's 2 years in the making, gentlemen. I don't know how some of these guys kick out modules in 6 months or whatever. But I'm just like, how do you test play this stuff? That's why I brought it down to you guys in Florida. I brought it to GrogCon. I brought it to, or not GrogCon, but Game Hole. To GaryCon. How do you test play this enough to make it an adventure that's going to tax the minds of the players? I think every module should make a player think. Yeah. And really use every resource they've got.
Well, and I think you can, because you put a lot of time into it. I think people make modules, but sometimes it's meant for them, and sometimes that doesn't transfer well. They've made a lot of assumptions, and if you don't really know how they play or that style, you then have to spend a lot of time filling in the holes. And it sounds like because you've play tested yours so extensively to Keep Up Blood Red Falls that you're going to give a nice body of information, and that's always a challenge too. Some people want all that material. Some people just want quick stat block, quick description, and not a whole lot of detail. But I think because of this type of adventure, at least when I went through it, you need to have all that figured out because there's a timing thing. There's all these conditions. You have a very dynamic adventure where if this happens, then this happens, and some DMs may not be able to pull it off. So I think it's good that you're gonna, have a lot of play testing to show what works and what doesn't.
Well, it's just, I think Gary did a lot of good, and I've taken a lot of James Ward and Gary's stuff, and when I'm looking at making this module, I was sort of, how would they do this? I've read, I've got, behind me here, I've probably got, I would say about half to more of the modules, and as you're flipping through them, you're seeing different styles and different stuff, and I was like, all right, I want something that's hard enough that it's going to challenge you, but not so hard that it's going to be an automatic TPK,
right?
Like James Ward is famous for. But I want it, if you make the right moves, you're going to get through it. There's not going to be a problem. It's but if you fail, it's it's going to be epic.
Yeah. Yeah, which is cool. I mean, I think that's the style that we have appreciated. We want the games to be deadly, challenging, and not just a superhero thing, which I think is fun every once in a while. But I think the first edition, again, I keep going back to the player's handbook. I'm holding it up. Look at these. They don't look like superheroes. They look like a bunch of murder hobos going through and carting stuff out. I mean, that to me is what first edition 1.0 is like. So, Dan, do you have any questions for Vic? Because I have one question for him. Just
no, go ahead.
So we were about to do our suggestion segment. You've come up with a couple of sessions. Do you have a suggestion for our dear listeners, Vic?
Oh, a suggestion for what?
Well, either a module or a book or a website.
Oh, geez, man, I haven't been reading much. I've been reading this book that Jeannie gave me.
Okay.
That's my druid. Everybody should know that by now.
Yeah.
But she, it's one about scaling Mount Everest, and I was like, oh no, how could I get this to be a module? And I'm running through different permutations of how would they go about this, and their skill levels and stuff, and what is the prize at the top of the mountain,
Right.
See,
so I've been thinking about that pretty hard.
That's the problem with this game. It's obsessive.
Yeah.
What happens is everything. So you go to a baseball game,
right,
and you're like, could this be an adventure,
right,
like some sort of, I don't know, arena with lions or something,
right? Orcs versus whatever, halflings or whatever there. Well, I think that's interesting about Everest because that's been in the news recently because apparently Nepal and Tibet have given out so many licenses to climb it that they get stuck up there and people have died waiting to get to the summit.
That's a boring adventure.
What, standing there and freezing to death?
Roll.
Stand there freezing to death.
I don't like that adventure.
Wait a minute, that's right up your alley with some of these adventures that we were talking about, but okay.
No, but I could see that. You're in line, and it's like you keep rolling. You see people
until
dying.
You die. Yeah.
What do you do?
Well, you could play the
something.
Sherpa. You could play the Sherpa then, not the adventurers. You could play the bears.
And what stinks is I'm a dwarf thief, so I can't climb walls.
No.
If I'd been a halfling.
You just roll down the mountain over and over again.
Gentlemen, but what if you were having to go on top of the mountain to solve something in a module? What if there was something that you absolutely needed to, let's say, retrieve it to go kill something else?
Right.
It could be a continent-spanning adventure. You got to go to the top of the mountain to get X to go kill Y, so you can get into the temple or whatever.
Yeah,
I guess that.
See, I like this where they're all like waiting
in line. All
yeah.
right.
Yeah, so I like that idea. Right, have like a whether it's a white dragon or a yeti or something at the top, and all these adventurers are like waiting for their turn to get slaughtered by it. That would be amazing. That would be a great. They're hoping they would beat them. It's like the King of the Hill. It's literally King of the Hill.
Yeah, because there's supposed to be something. Okay, I see. Yeah, it's just right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm showing Go ahead, Vic.
That's an excellent idea, James. You could always have competing groups trying to kill each other and going up the mountain trying to get to this grand prize.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was showing, and for our listeners, I was showing a picture of, in Everest, because they have it's not a big deal anymore. You can pay people to help you go up the mountain. So I'm showing this picture of like 100 people near the top of the mountain trying to get up there. So that would be great. Yeah, like you said, you could have a bunch of adventuring parties trying to get to this thing up there, whether it's a quest or an item, and they have to compete with each other. That would be pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I don't know how that would be similar to what we're trying to do in the tournament. They're not actively fighting each other because we thought that would be a little awkward. But have you ever run like a battle royale or something like that, Vic, where you've had the players fight each other or something like that?
The only thing I have is since we're going into this player versus player stuff, I've sort of ran into that lately with my my group here in Minnesota. had one of my players say, "Well, I'm an assassin," and there's a bunch of good players in the group, and I'm just like, "Oh, brother, here we go. Who's going to get killed? Who's going to do what?" There's going to be some player intrigue now because we have all these good players, and then we've got this one evil one floating around, sort of like I did with Ernie Gygax down at GaryCon. And so now what's going to happen? And so I've gotten to a point where I've had to make some rules in my game up here in Minnesota, and just saying, hey, if you're playing assassin, keep it quiet. You're actually, say you're a fighter, say you're a thief, say you're anything else but an assassin, because if they find out you're an assassin, you're good as dead. And as Dan said, I think he was, I don't know what episode it was, the paladins won't adventure with anybody that's not good. Well, if a paladin finds out right away that you're an assassin, well, all bets are off with combat.
So what do you do? Because don't you have a -1 charisma? Haven't you started with a 3, and then didn't you just deface yourself?
If you're the gnome assassin that we're trying to be, yeah. I think if you're a hideous gnome, they know you're an assassin, because that's the only thing you could. If you're
I can't be an illusionist gnome. I mean, I can't be an illusionist assassin, right? That's not permitted.
No, unfortunately not.
The illusion of a prettier gnome.
To me, that was a failing. They should have allowed. I think.
Yeah,
in the book that shall not be named, you can be an illusionist.
So but you have trouble if you're hideous. Or if it's clear your charisma is 3, they're gonna know. Isn't that the only thing you can be?
If you're an adventurer,
5 or below,
that's right. If you're an adventurer, well, this is where smart players, back to Vic's thing, if they see a really not unmagnanimous person who's really just loathful, but yet he has some skills, they should kill him right away because he's an assassin.
Right.
Because 5 or lower, you can only be an assassin.
Right.
That makes a lot of sense.
Smart play.
That would be so. I'm just going to say, I'm going to ask the DM next time I'm playing, what do I think about him? Yeah, he's not very magnanimous. He's not very charismatic. Yeah. I attack him.
Right. If the minute he talks to you, you immediately attack. Yeah. Well, that works out well then, doesn't it?
Can I make a reaction roll?
Yes, I'd like to. Oh, darn, you got to. No, I'm happy with that.
That's right.
Immediate attack. I wanted that.
All right, because I want him dead. That's
what we should do is, session 0, everyone should have to make a reaction roll with each other. That sounds like a lot of fun. Everyone does a reaction roll.
Right.
And that dictates how you feel about each other.
Right.
And you could have some combat in session 0, which would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, the new guy comes or gal comes. I have never played D&D. Great, here. Oh, I just rolled. I have to attack you.
Yes.
So, was that fun? You're
all
dead.
4 of them rolled. You should have picked higher in charisma.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Vic? Session 0, bring people in and then kill them right away.
No thanks. But that's why I try to pull these players off to the side, and I try to tell them, say, hey, if you're playing an assassin, act like something else.
Right.
I mean, anything else. I mean, sure, you're not going to pull off a magic user spells, but you can sure be a thief. You can sure be a fighter.
Druid.
Druid.
Paladin.
I'm a paladin. I disguise myself like a paladin.
Oh, yeah, great. You infiltrate into like the temple.
Yeah, might as well. What's the difference?
And then it's a bloodbath.
Right.
You pull off that great helm. You're hideous.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Blood Red Falls, guys, I put up the challenge. And I said I would give a pack of dice.
Did you get them now?
I got the one set right here.
Oh, there it is.
It's a nice blood red die here for the, and I've got more on order. So,
and
the challenge is being fulfilled. Now I've got to write the contract, and I've just saw that Darla. Darlene, I think it is. Darlene has put out the script now for a Greyhawk script. We can write the contract.
Oh, is that the? I'm sorry, Vic. It looks like the grog line is going. Is that the grog line?
Hello.
That's not the grog line.
No, it's not the grog line.
It's just your phone makes.
Wife calling.
Yeah,
it's just random things your phone does.
I don't know how to work that thing.
Oh, jeez.
So smart and all. It's smarter than me.
Yeah, well, that's cool. So, what contract is this for? I'm sorry, I don't. This is
the I will wear the
yes.
Red Falls button.
Yes.
Players are gonna have to sign this thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you guys, Dan, you're the one who said made a contract. I mean, if they come up, they can either win the dice or they're going to.
I think when you're
wear the sticker or the button, and forget it. I'm going to make a contract out of this.
So there's going to be lawsuits?
Yeah, I think there's going to be. Well, it's the problem is what you breathe in and out and you say contract. Contract.
It's just something to be funny,
It's good.
There's nothing funny about contracts, my friend.
That's right.
Someone gets sued. It's all funny. Contracts are funny until someone gets sued.
Clearly nothing funny about contracts. I would agree. I've listened to your podcast. That's there's nothing funny about that. So,
okay.
Hey, so it's great seeing you. Like I said, so October 11th through 13th, you all can see Vic and participate in the Keep of Blood Red Falls, which he is printing. I mean, that's he's going above and beyond, which is awesome. He'll hopefully have the Kickstarter done at that time. So there'll be hopefully for those who participate, they will either get dice or they'll get a badge of honor.
It's win-win, isn't it?
Right, there's no loss.
Dice or a button.
And, they could eventually purchase the Keep of Blood Red Falls because it'll be available on Kickstarter. So they could see exactly what they were supposed to do. And or they could keep that a mystery because they may want to go see Vic at GaryCon 20 up in Wisconsin and play with him up there.
Right.
I would, that's the only problem with this is the good and bad thing. I know that you're not doing this for the money because someone like me, I'm not going to buy your module until I beat it which is probably never because I'll be like, I want to try to win. Well, that's fine. That's why I retire from it. Because I think it's frustrating when you're unable to bit, but it's like every player. When your player character dies, you're mad, and then you start thinking about the next player within 10 minutes. You get over it.
But remember, gentlemen, I've created 30 player characters for this, and if you want to use your own, you can. But I've created 30 that you could choose from on my website.
Well, this is very interesting. More information. He said, if you want to use your own, you can.
That's right. I would like to bring Asmodeus in. That would
I'm bringing in a food dog.
A food dog.
Can I have a food dog?
A food dog.
That's right.
I'm bringing a pack of food dogs.
That's right.
We're just a pack of food dogs.
Just said we'll just astral and ethereal play. No, what I meant by that was it's challenging the module. It's very unlikely we're not going to be successful. Not to say it's impossible. You've made it very clear it's very possible. And the initial reaction is when you fail is to be unhappy. It's not like. But you get over it because you're ready to try it again. But if you buy the module, then you read it. It's kind of like now that I've read Two Maharas, I can't go through Two Maharas again because I know some of the things. I don't know it well enough because obviously I played it with Nico and he killed us pretty well. But it's the same kind of thing. It's a marker of how well a play it is. It's not just an indication of how powerful your characters are. Like you said, it's a thinking person's adventure, which I think is dead on. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, maybe I should give a copy of it to Nico, and he can, with the 5e translation, and he can take his little 5e group through it and see how badly they get slaughtered.
So Vic was saying that he'll give you the 5e version of it, so you can put your friends through it. The Keep of Blood Red Falls, and you can slaughter them. Yeah, that's Vic's module. That's what he's going to run down here. All right, so anyway, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter at GrogTalk. We have our website, Google Play, iTunes. We're on Spotify. We're getting a lot of Spotify. We're still 75% of our listeners on Spotify are female.
Oh, does that surprise you?
It does. They're claiming to be female, which I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. So I think that's awesome.
Well, we claim to be men.
Yes, we claim to be knowledgeable of this. Yeah. Go ahead, Vic.
You need to get more females in that game of yours down there. Last time I was there, I think the only one female was Jeannie in that game.
I have Jason's wife plays with us regularly. So it's I give you a lot of credit when I look at your Facebook photos of your games. I mean, he really has a very eclectic group of players.
Indeed.
It's not like us who all look the same. So that's kudos to you, Vic, on that. So go ahead.
Well, it's all advertising, gentlemen. You got to get this GrogTalk stuff up there on the Facebook, like I do with the Old School Gaming Society. Is just keep posting it up, and get these people to watch your channel.
I hate the Facebook. People are so mean on the Facebook.
I'm pointing at him for those we've divided the social media empire. I'm the Twitter person.
All right, I'll get on it. I'll get on the Facebook.
You're the Facebook.
Dan, it's just copy and paste. It's just copy and paste.
Okay.
Write a nice little blurb and put it up there, and tell them what you're going to talk about this next week, and just drop it on there. And
turn off the comments.
Turn off the comments.
And go. You know what we didn't talk about was that halflings have dogs.
Oh yeah.
In their, as
little barrows
to protect them.
What about squirrels?
Could you travel with a dog?
1-point squirrels.
Can I travel with a dog if I'm a halfling?
If the
so
DM
you're
allows
bring
it.
a foo dog with a halfling, or is the halfling gonna ride the foo dog?
Oh, I like that.
And they also move silently. If they're 90 feet ahead, they move silently, right?
Yes, just like very similar to elves.
So that's a very valuable skill. I just wanted to throw that in the last moment. Get that in there.
Yeah,
I think
because we
important.
totally left that. So now here, thank you, Dan, because now I have to take, because I chopped this up. I take the segment of what we talk about, and then the other things I put in the second segment. Because shockingly, some people don't want to listen to us for 2 hours.
Right.
I know it's crazy.
No, that's a good clue that we need to wrap this baby up.
That's right. So Vic, you're our guest. You get to roll the D10 to tell us how our adventure, our
and now the good news of having him as a guest, if it doesn't roll well, we can blame him.
Right. It was awesome until Vic showed up.
Right. We were going to be a 10.
Oh, it's awesome until I showed up. Hold it back, gentlemen. I have the most views of the
you
show.
do.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's
you are exactly right.
Grandmaster of pulling in people. So
so that's why. So yeah, give us a D10. One is not so good. 10 is
9.
9.
Wow.
There you go. 9. That's what I'm talking
Wow,
about.
I felt like a 4 to me. I'm surprised.
Well, because
of these blood red keep dice, so
because he pulled it up. He pulled it.
He did. We were a 4.
We were.
He added 5.
4 is being generous.
When I was at the gate, it was a big 1.
It was. Yeah, we were. I mean, we were close to just bagging that thing after that, because I mean, it's so embarrassing. We can't even get into my own neighborhood. It's ridiculous.
That's true.
That was pretty bad. It's like
you need that wizard's knock spell handy for you.
10 minutes before we're supposed to go live.
We need a dwarven thief.
We needed something.
Yes.
We need the gate to work. Florida. This is the only problem with Florida in the summertime. There's so many lightning strikes and everything else that happen that various electronics don't do well with it. So we're still looking for requests for pictures. If you have that, we'll always have that. If you have ideas for future items, I said one of our listeners wanted me to check info@GrogCon. Is that right? The email?
Yeah, it's inbox.
Okay, great. And we'll check that out. And so next week we will be broadcasting live from Sci-Fi City with the Classic Game Store in preparation of the summer tournament with great prizes that I've acquired. So it's going to be very exciting.
Okay.
Yeah, very good. So Vic, thank you so much.
Thanks, Vic.
I look forward to seeing you in a few weeks. And I definitely probably want to talk offline about your 3D printing and your experience with it, because I think that's something, and if it's something we may want to do a mini episode of that, because I think people, they're intimidated by the technology, I think that initially, and the cost, and I think you've said it's reasonable. You can get into it, and I think people would be more amenable to it.
You can get into it for, let's see here. It's the cheapest one I saw was $200, and then a roll of filament is like 15. So I mean, you can easily get in for under $250 to do have a 3D printer. But if you want a larger size, you're going to be underneath $450. You know, so
just one last thing. How long does it take? Like that horse you made, how long did it take to print that out?
Oh, well, the horses, I think I made a dozen of them at one time, so it took 24 hours. So it was, about 2 hours per, and I'm printing right now, I think I'm printing right now a pack mule or something like that, and the program that you do it in, it will tell you how long. It's like 3 hours for this or whatever, and basically it's fire and forget. Once you put it on the SD card, you put it in the printer, you hit print, and you push a couple different buttons, and you fire it and walk away. And I've had Jeannie call me from when I'm out working outside the house, and she's called me and says, "Your print's done. What do you want to do?"
Okay.
So I mean, if Jeannie can pick it up, anybody can pick it up. It's just it's the programming part that might befuddle more people than anything else, and how quality of a print you want. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that sounds good. I think it doesn't take much for me to buy stuff that I don't need, so I'm gonna probably go do that at some point. So,
well, you got the production goblin there. He can help you.
Yeah, I have the production goblin. I could start just putting my orders in. He's on summer break, so I'll be like, all right, by tomorrow I expect 3 orcs, pack mule, and a building. So that sounds good. Well, very good, Vic. I thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to seeing you soon. So I'm James.
I'm Dan.
And thanks for listening to GrogTalk. We will see you next week at Sci-Fi City.